Morning, everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. I hate this weather. I got to tell you, I got to get it out of my system. What is it, like 3 degrees out there? Is this the oldest day, coldest day that we've experienced? Bill's here, Ray's here. We're all cold. But we're going to warm it up today. I got a beef with the national media. What is it about the national media and how they can be misguided, so misguided on their statements? I'm going to give you an example. There's a guy named Chris Sims out there. He said, we're going to play this for everybody, right? This is it. These are people that are supposed to analyze football. Now, I'm not doing this because it's against the Eagles or it's provincial. But, I'm curious to know how many people, how many listeners, how many viewers are influenced by these people. Like, a guy like Chris Sims says something like, well, if you take 5 or 6 plays away, the Rams win. Right, and then Alex Smith, I think Alex Smith is a good Mormon man, right? You would think he would have some integrity and some honesty. And he says that the Eagles were bailed out by the snow. What is it about the Eagles that seem to have would you agree, Bill, that the national media has something more against the Eagles than they have against any other team?
I would, and you and I have talked about this before. Sometimes I think we overblow that as Philadelphia fans.
As being provincial. Yeah. But I never overblow it.
No, you never do.
I never do. I always am objective about, I don't get into the provincial thing that everybody's picking on the Eagles. But in this case, it's so idiotic what these national former players are saying that I just don't get it. They can't be. I would think they would have enough integrity not to give hot takes. I think they actually believe this stuff. And I go, well, what happened to your brains?
I just have never heard. I've never heard a football analyst say, you take away 6 plays. I mean, really? 6 plays. So, yeah, you know what? You remove 5 touchdowns. It's a different game.
I'm sick of it. I really am. I'm sick of the Chris Simses of the world. And I'm going to light him up today. I'm going to try to light him up. For not because I want to light them up, because they're stupid. They're idiots sometimes when they say some things. And it's not fair and it's not objective to the people in this city that are watching the game with 2 eyes and then have to hear that. It's crazy. Listen, I'm not naive enough to think that Jalen Hurts was curtailed by a slick field and a bad knee. And maybe the slick field hurt the Eagles more than helped them. How do you say it leveled the playing field for the Rams? I don't understand it. Well, so we're going to get into this today. I need to know from people whether they are, when they hear something like this, what their reaction is. Because my reaction is that you people are idiots. And I would love to have Chris Sims on. You know me, I would tell Chris Sims and Alex Smith to their face, your opinion is idiotic, okay? I've now told you it's idiotic. Now you have the floor to tell me why it's not idiotic. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I would love to see you do it, too, because I'd like to see them defend it. See, here's what's bothering me about the national narrative is now we keep hearing the Eagles can't keep winning this way. The Eagles can't keep winning with this passing offense. Well, let's flip the script a little bit. Let's look at the Washington Commanders. Can they keep winning, giving up 520 yards a game? Can they keep winning, giving up over 200 rushing yards a game? Because that's what they did against the Detroit Lions. Now, granted, they turned the ball over a lot on defense. They were able to get some takeaways. But it's not sustainable to give up over 500 yards of offense to an opponent and still win. But we're not hearing that narrative. We're hearing Eagles aren't going to be able to do it. And I think a lot of it comes down to, Mike, these national analysts, they don't like to be wrong, and they've been wrong about Jalen Hurts. A lot of them, especially Chris Sims, were down on Hurts for years. Then he has that good season in 2022, and you still heard Chris Sims putting him down. So they love being able to jump all over it. And we know, for whatever reason, they don't love the head coach. Nationally, The head coach does not get a lot of respect, the respect that I think he deserves. But I want to flip the script. Not can the Eagles keep winning this way. Can the Commanders win this way? If the Commanders give up 200 rushing yards to the Eagles, are they going to win that game?
No,
I don't think so.
Here's the thing. Like, you can't ignore results and have any credibility. Like for instance, with me. What did I say about Nick Sirianni? I wouldn't have brought him back, but my eyes are wide open. I can learn. And what I've learned is whatever he does is working. And they're a good team. So, like, I'm not afraid to say, well, my opinion, I've learned now differently than what my opinion is. Like, how do these guys not look at the Jalen Hurts thing and go, it doesn't matter that he doesn't dazzle you. This team is together and they win. I don't understand these guys. I really don't. And we're going to play both comments on the other side. But I definitely want to open the show because I want to know how people feel about it. If I get enraged and I'm like this objective guy who tries to stay on the outside and not be a fan, then what are fans actually thinking about this? 610-632-0975 is how you get into the show. And this fawning over Jayden Daniels, I get it. But please stop it. He's not an all-world guy yet. He's still a rookie. And by the way, Alex and Chris, the Eagles are favored by 6.5. Do you take any inventory in that? The Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
10:13, Mike Missanelli Show. I want to play this. Now, here's the thing. I've always said this. The odds makers who set lines are smarter than any ex-NFL player who tries to analyze the game. Now, you would think that, like ex-quarterbacks, people go, well, they were quarterback. They knew the playbook inside and out. They knew every nook and cranny because they had to call it play, and they should know. Yeah. And then you have Alex Smith and Chris Sims who make idiotic statements, and I go, what? Like, what has happened here? Well, let's start with Alex Smith. Good guy. You think he has some credibility. Here's what he had to say about the snow game for the Eagles.
It's a compliment to how good this team is that you can have a guy like AJ and he can be non-existent and you can still win big ball games like this. Listen, I think the Eagles got bailed out by the weather yesterday, right? In a lot of ways, this really played into their hands. I mean, I think if there's better weather, they probably lose this ball game. I mean, they net passing of 65 yards. I mean, you're not going to hoist a Lombardi doing that.
How, with better weather, do they lose the game when the bad weather took one of their main weapons, the quarterback run, and in fact took the quarterback pass out of it for both teams? Stafford piled up a lot of yards at the end of that game when the Eagles were in prevent. Do they not see this stuff? What is wrong with these guys?
I don't understand, though, how you could keep saying they're not going to be able to hoist a Lombardi like this. They've won 12 games in a row. They've won both of their playoff games. They're favored by 6.5 points at home in the NFC Championship game. What, are we just going to keep making stuff up at this point? Like, if this was week 2 or week 3 and we're looking at a 17-game season, I think you can have these conversations. But when you are hosting the NFC Championship game as almost a touchdown favorite, how can you say, oh, they can't hoist a Lombardi trophy like this? Yeah, and the snow bailed them out.
Well, let's take that one first because I want to hear this again. Right? Can we play this again? Because my ears are bleeding here listening to the idiotic statement that he just made.
It's a compliment to how good this team is that you can have a guy like AJ and he can be non-existent and you can still win big ball games like this. Listen, I think the Eagles got bailed out by the weather yesterday.
Bailed out.
Right? In a lot of ways, this really played into their hands. I mean, I think if there's better weather, they probably lose this ball game. I mean, they net passing of 65 yards. I mean, you're not going to hoist a Lombardi doing that.
How do they lose this game? See, you can't just throw us. How? I would ask him, what do you mean by that? How could they lose this game? You do know the quarterback could have gained like 80 yards on the ground if the field wasn't the way it is. You know that Stafford is, as more of a veteran passer, is probably going to throw the ball better in that kind of weather. But it doesn't really matter for the Eagles if you have a running back that's going to gain over 200 yards. I don't understand these people.
Well, he says the snow bailed them out, right? I'm going to go back to something I talked a little bit about yesterday. What about the Buffalo Bills? The Buffalo Bills had 126 net passing yards. I am not hearing any national analysts say that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills can't win a Super Bowl with only 126 net passing yards. In fact, you look at the Bills' offense, they only had 273 total yards. Philadelphia Eagles had 350. They had more rushing yards than the Buffalo Bills had in the entire game offensively. So why are we ignoring how dominant the rushing attack is? It's making me upset.
The totality of the game escapes them. Like, they look at a number and they go, oh, that's Stafford's number. And look at Hurts' number. And they don't factor in that, 125 yards of Stafford's total came in the last 2 drives. Like, how do you not notice that? When the Eagles were playing, they had a lead and they were soft. They didn't want to get beat for a quick touchdown. You're a quarterback. You should know this kind of stuff. All right, let's get to the other idiot.
The other idiot.
Who has proven to be an idiot many times, by the way. I don't know how Chris Sims, as a mediocre quarterback who was a journeyman, now becomes this expert on NFL analysis. So let's hear what he has to say.
That game yesterday, let's say it was 130 plays. The Rams definitely won the majority of those plays. If it's not for 2 strips by the Eagles defense and basically the 3 long touchdown runs. I would say you take away those 5-6 plays there, the Rams football team won the majority of the plays on the field in the game that day. That shouldn't be. The Eagles didn't play their best ball, and they got to find ways to throw the ball a little bit better because they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who I would argue is the best duo receiver in football, too. And it's inexcusable for them not to be in the game plan a little bit more.
That might be the dumbest statement I have ever heard from a human being, much less an ex-NFL player. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, take away the turnovers. Take away the touchdown runs.
It doesn't count that the Eagles forced that turnover because they have ferocious defense. It doesn't count that Saquon Barkley busted their ass like he does everybody because he's going to set an NFL record. Like, that doesn't matter. Take those plays away because they're not really part of the regular part of why the Eagles are good. What kind of an idiot is this guy?
I'm at a loss for words.
Seriously.
I have never heard a national analyst who's supposed to be an expert, quote unquote, say, let's remove the 6 best plays of the game, and that team's probably not going to win.
As if they just happened by accident. Like, those plays just happened. It wasn't that the Eagles are good enough to make those plays.
Yeah, they had one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL all season.
I'm beside myself today. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Gearing up for the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. As we continue to move past the win over the Rams on Sunday, it's time to turn all eyes to the Eagles hosting the NFC Championship game against the Commanders on Sunday. We'll be monitoring the status of quarterback Jalen Hurts leading up to Sunday as he deals with a banged-up knee that he suffered in that Rams game. While we wonder about Hurts' health, there'll be plenty made of what happens with this offense, the balance between passing the ball and running the ball, and where this passing offense is at, which Nick Sirianni addressed yesterday.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game, and there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch, and there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so again, I wouldn't say I have a level of concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
We'll take a look at that plenty leading up to the game Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field against the Commanders. In college football last night, Ohio State knocked off Notre Dame at 34-23 to win the College Football National Championship. Tonight in Philadelphia sports, the Flyers host the Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock, and the 76ers are on the road against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can hear the 76ers tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Indeed.com. You don't need a job site, you need a hiring platform. Indeed lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from one place. Start Indeed.com/credit. I'm Ray Dunn of the home, the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
10-26. Missanelli show. If you take away 5 plays, 2 of them being Saquon touchdowns, the Rams win. Well, dude, I'm beside myself. Honest to God. Yeah, let me see. You take away 2 touchdowns, right? Dude, can you do some math? Like that would be 14 points. Like, you subtract 14 from the total. Would the Rams win?
Seems substantial. Yes, the Rams
really?
would win that
Okay,
game.
so and when they got the turnover that led to a couple field goals, subtract that too.
Also seems substantial.
Yeah, because that didn't happen. So if you take away the fact you take away 20 points, Bill, you would the Rams would win.
I got some breaking news too. I heard that if you take away Francisco Lindor's grand slam against the Phillies, that they may win the series against the Mets. What do you think about that one?
Why? I'm trying to have a good week. Why would you do that to
It was
me?
just one pitch. Just take away the one pitch.
Like when he says something like that, whoever, I don't know, what show was that on?
Up and Adams with Kay Adams.
Would Kay Adams actually like say, well, you know, I'm like, is it me? Is it me? When somebody makes a statement like that, would the other person who's interviewing just let him get away with something like that? Or go, well, Chris, I mean, you know, really, you can't.
Anybody that knows anything about football, it always comes down to a handful of plays. Always. So you could look at every single game in the National Football League every season and remove 5 plays, and the outcome would be different. Every damn game, 5 plays probably dictate the game. So for Chris Sims to go on and say, I mean, he just continues to do things that make me think he's a clown. But look, he's got his job. His last name is Sims. I'm sure that helped. He's got a great. I'm looking at his.
All right, I get it. He's got the job. We can't do anything about that. He got hired. Somebody thought he was going to be good. But when he says something like that, how do you just get away with it? Like, it's so ridiculously stupid that it has to be challenged, or he has to take some heat for making a statement like that. I don't know.
He's not going
it's
to.
Probably me. Let's get to the text. We have some text on this, like, right away. So, Ray, what do you have?
All right. We got Chris from Lancaster. Take away 5 plays this season, and the Eagles are probably undefeated.
Probably not even 5.
I love people that go, well, if you take away, what do you mean if you take away? You can't. They happened.
Dan from Phoenix. I think the national media petty conversation comes from 2 things. One was what Bill said about being right, and the second is to stir reaction out of the Philly fan base. They're in it for the retweets, the reactions, and then they'll put up our reactions the next day on their shows.
Yeah, I guess. But, like, you're an ex-football player and an ex-quarterback, and you're supposed to, like, make sense. So this is so far ridiculously stupid that it doesn't make any sense. And it can't stand. That's why I'm doing this show today. It can't stand.
Not everybody is against the national media. We have a text saying maybe the national media is more objective than all the Philly media Waterboy Eagle fans. I think they see it more as teams beat themselves than the Eagles beat them. Everything seems to fall their way at the right time, and I think that tarnishes their performance.
Okay. See, this is where I start to get really frustrated because Jayden Daniels has become this media darling, right? Everybody loves Jayden Daniels, and rightfully so. The kid's having a great rookie season. They had 5 takeaways against the Detroit Lions. They gave up over 500 damn yards. So if we're going to say, oh, we're just being fanboys or water boys of the Eagles, how can you then look at this Commanders team and not do the exact same thing? If they didn't turn the ball over, talking about the Lions, 5 times, the Commanders don't have a shot in that football game. They don't have a shot no matter how good Jayden Daniels was. If you don't get 5 takeaways on defense as the Commanders, you don't beat the Lions giving up 520 yards.
I'm trying to keep this simple. I do realize there are fanboys that will cover a team, and there are fanboys that maybe cover this particular team. But this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with a national media guy making an idiotic statement. Like, I keep it right there. This is all I'm focused on. It's like you can't like let that blend into any other theme at this point.
But let me ask you, Mike, because you're right, and sometimes I'll get accused, oh, you're such a fanboy of the Eagles. You're so positive about them. They're 14-3 this season, and they're in the NFC Championship game. So are we supposed to rip this team? Is that what we're supposed to do? Are we supposed to rip them? Are we supposed to rip the coach and rip the quarterback? on the week of the NFC Championship. I mean, just listen to what that texter texted in. Oh, you're all fanboys. Don't you think you should be a fanboy of this team at this point?
Yeah. Well, listen. The fact that they're 6.5-point favorites in this game, it tells me everything I need to know. They're that much better than the Washington Commanders in this spot. Could they lose the game? I guess. I don't think they're going to lose the game. Now, when they get to the Super Bowl, I'm not saying that we're having a parade here. I don't know what would happen in the Super Bowl. I look at the rankings say that they have the best odds to win the Super Bowl, but then there's somebody here who's a football analyst who says they're the third. They're ranked third in priority as far as they're behind the Chiefs and the Bills. So if they get to the Super Bowl, well, the odds maker will set a line on this, and they might not be the favorite in the Super Bowl. I don't know, but judging them to this point, it's like they're going to beat the Commanders. They're better than the Commanders. They're 6.5-point better than the Commanders. Somehow that's lost in the shuffle, and it's the Rams ran more positive plays. And if you take away these plays, the Rams would have won. And the quarterback doesn't do this. And it's ridiculous. If you want to get to the Super Bowl and analyze it, then maybe you have more valid points. But taking away stuff from the Eagles right now just seems so forced by the national media. And I don't understand it. It is what it is. The quarterback doesn't dazzle you. But they win games because they're so much better than everybody else in many other areas. It's really simple.
It's frustrating, Mike. And I think I heard John say it this morning, and this is the truth, too. Why isn't the national media talking about how dominant the Eagles' defense has been all season long? How good this defense is, that they're the number one defense. And so far this postseason, the Eagles are a +6 in the turnover differential department. They haven't turned it over once on offense, and they have 6 takeaways. You don't just say, we're going to remove those takeaways from the game and the Eagles would have lost.
Yeah, take away
They're forcing it.
Take away those really good defensive plays that they've been making all year, and the Rams win. I don't understand it. Yeah.
Now look,
people have to help me understand today. I need help from the people.
If the national media's narrative was, is Jalen Hurts going to be 100% healthy against the Commanders, because that's going to have a huge impact on the offense because of the fact that he maybe won't be able to be that +1 in the rushing attack. You won't be able to see him pull it on those read options. I'd be okay with that. That's a big question mark that I have this week. I want to hear, how is Jalen looking in practice? How's the knee? Because if he can't run the ball as effectively as he usually does, or he's not as mobile in getting out of the pocket, that could be a factor that could come back to haunt this team. But the fact that Vegas still has him as a -6.5 point favorite, I'm thinking they know Jalen's going to be just fine.
Yeah. Well, put it in perspective. You can't have great quarterback play in inclement weather like that was on Sunday. The Rams didn't get great quarterback play. They didn't get great quarterback play until the Eagles were in prevent, and they got 125 yards getting down the field because the Eagles didn't want to yield a big play. That guy's 37 years old. He's been through the wars, and he couldn't even be that efficient at quarterback play. He targeted his main guy 14 times. The guy had 6 catches. Was that great quarterback play? Was that great wide receiver quarterback connection play? No, it was because of the weather. You can't use the criteria that Jalen Hurts is not Josh Allen in a game like that. You just can't do it. It's got to be part of the equation when you analyze.
I keep coming back to this, man. When you say Jalen Hurts is not Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts had more yards than Josh Allen.
Yeah, and that's because Josh Allen couldn't have great quarterback play in that kind of weather either. But in general, would you take Josh Allen over Hurts? Of course you would. I would. Maybe people wouldn't. It's easy to see that I would take him over Jalen Hurts. But that's not the issue right now. The issue is the Eagles win because they have a better overall button-down formula than many other teams do. Now, did they have it better than the Bills and Chiefs? Maybe not. We'll get to that bridge. We'll cross it when we get to it. 610-632-0975. I'm going to play this Sims nonsense all day long. I need everybody on earth to hear what Chris Sims said. I'm on to you, big boy. I'm on to you, top button. Notice he does the top button all the time.
I
Notice that?
I hate the top
He's a
button.
top button man.
He's made it like a logo of his now,
Yeah.
too.
All right, we're going to get to your call. I know people have been holding off for a long time. I got it out of my system for the first 36 minutes. So now we're good with the calls at 610-632-0975 back after this.
Join 97.5.
Bill, who won the hate poll last night?
I got to be honest with you. I didn't watch a single play.
Ray probably did watch it.
But
Ray,
I know who won.
Oh, Ray, who won the hate poll?
Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State won the hate poll last night?
OH.
Chip Kelly with a national championship. Right?
Good for Chip.
Sure.
I did happen to see a story today of the rankings for 2025 season. Did you see that? Preseason rankings already? They put it out. Ohio State is 7th. So they're losing a lot of players. They got to get a new quarterback. Guess who's number 1?
Penn State.
How about that?
Are they really?
Yes.
Well, you could take some solace in that, I guess.
Preseason number 1. The Nittys. Pressure's on.
The pressure's
They
on
can't-
Franklin.
They can't lose a game. They play Oregon early in the season, and they play at Ohio State early in the season.
Well, that'll be a loss. Did you see? Ryan Day, the head coach for Ohio
Yeah?
State, being driven by the woman in the golf cart, hit the wall?
Yeah, she crashed into the wall. That's a bad wheelbase, man. I don't blame her. That's
come on.
It's a bad golf cart wheelbase. Sometimes, you've been in a golf cart, right? Sometimes you get really good wheelbases, and sometimes you get bad ones. Like she thought she had a better wheelbase there.
I don't know. I gotta say,
She's getting fired.
when I used to work down at the Eagles, those hallways though underneath the stadium, they are narrow. And you got those golf carts. Remember Austin
Of course
Powers?
they're narrow,
Remember
but-
Austin Powers? He was trying to do the K turn.
You got to understand your wheelbase, right?
Yeah, you can't hit the wall that hard.
Exactly.
So
It's like when you pull into a spot in the grocery store, right? How many times do you misjudge your wheelbase? You go, I thought I cut this good enough, but now I got to back up a little bit and then re-steer it.
Yeah,
Right?
you don't just
That's
keep going and slam into the
that's what
car.
she did.
She was rushing. Come on. She's got the national champions. They got to get somewhere.
And
I was
She
embarrassing.
started laughing about it.
Well, she was embarrassed.
Yeah, if you don't laugh,
She
you'll
was
cry.
embarrassed. It's like,
Because it literally shut the thing down. It wouldn't work anymore
Yeah,
after
she
she hit
broke
the
it.
wall.
They had to walk.
Ridiculous. No, but I didn't watch any of the game, man. I was trying to catch up on some
I
sleep.
didn't know. I didn't even remember it was on. I got to be honest with you, and that's petty. That's petty of me.
A little bit. But Brendan Gunn was upset today.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's so sad.
Okay. You really thought Notre Dame was going to win that game? Come on.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to get you all mad. Hold on. I saw our own Kevin Cooney tweeted something out last night. Hold on about this game. This will make you happy.
Yeah.
Proud as hell. Relevant as they should be.
Proud as hell. You got them 31-7, dude. Come on, proud as hell.
He was proud.
Yeah, you down 31-7 national championship game. You're proud as hell. All right, let me hear it, Sims one more time. Just one more time. I got to hear it one more time, and then we'll get to our callers.
That game yesterday, let's say it was 130 plays. The Rams definitely won the majority of those plays. If it's not for 2 strips by the Eagles defense and basically the 3 long touchdown runs, I would say you take away those 5-6 plays there, the Rams football team won the majority of the plays on the field in the game that day. That shouldn't be. The Eagles didn't play their best ball, and they got to find ways to throw the ball a little bit better because they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who I would argue is the best duo receiver in football too. And it's inexcusable for them not to be in the game plan a little bit more.
I'm just speechless. That Kay Adams sit there and goes,
Great point, Chris.
Are you freaking kidding me, Kay?
Great point.
Seriously. He just got done saying you take away the 3 long touchdown runs and the 2 strips, which led to points. Like, dude, it may be the stupidest statement ever. Like, here, let me add to it. If you take away the goalie from the U.S. Women's Olympic Soccer team, they wouldn't have won gold, Bill. And I'm going to add another one. If you take away the boat, George Washington doesn't cross the Delaware, and we're not a country. Well, what?
Correct. Correct. Well, I had, I'm on that group chat with a bunch of my college buddies who are Giants fans. And during the game against the Rams, I get a text from one of them that says, if the Giants would have re-signed Saquon Barkley, the Eagles would be 5-12. It's like, well, guess what?
I would say no.
They didn't re-sign him, and Saquon is on the Philadelphia Eagles. So what does that mean? So, well, if the Commanders didn't have Jayden Daniels, they wouldn't have won that many games this year. It's all a part of football. It's a part of the sport. You can't be taking things out and piecemealing it. Piecemealing it.
Works in a very interesting way.
Piecemeal or piecemeal? We established that last time.
Piecemeal.
Piecemealing it.
Not mail.
Remember I said I thought it was
Yes.
piecemeal?
Yes, I do remember that.
I don't remember.
I thought we got past that
Oh,
point.
is that when I was that way?
No, you were here for it.
Oh,
We had
was?
it was going way back.
No, I think you might have been out
No,
for
I
that.
think-
I think
yeah.
that might have been Amy teaching
Oh,
you
was
that.
it Amy?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember that. I would have remembered that.
Yeah, I said piecemeal.
Piecemeal.
And then I go, wait a second, is it piecemeal or piecemeal?
I get all your fun word intricacies mixed up. I'm still thinking about Astros.
The Astros. That honestly, a lot of people supported me on that. Nobody knew that the Houston Astros were named that because of the space
Some people did.
headquarters down there. Some people did.
All right, let's go.
All right, on to the
Let's
next.
go to Mike in Germantown as our first caller of the day. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Mike? How you feeling,
Good, man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good. I'm listening, man, and I feel you. I feel you. Listen, I think they're mad. This is why. See, the people in Vegas know that the Eagles, if we just get there, we're going to win. But the thing is, they really want Kansas City to, get the third ring in a row so they can have more of the dancing thing. And then look with L.A., right? The fires, so people were running around town saying, they're going to try to let L.A. win. I said, listen, they're not better than us. They're not better. Snow or no snow, they're not
Wait,
better.
who was saying that you want L.A. to win because of the fires?
Oh, there's a couple of people around town saying it. Believe me. They were like, the NFL's going to.
So they were suggesting the NFL was going to fix it to make L.A.
Yeah.
feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like Chris
That's
Sims worthy, that statement. I mean, come on, man. From now on, any dumb statement is going to be known as a Chris Simsy. For me.
And so, but like you said, Jalen, it's not all flash. They don't like how we win. Me and my son were talking about it, and they don't like how we win. We win with he's not what's the guy in Cincinnati?
Burrow. Yeah, I get it. It's not. But a winning formula is a winning formula. This is the thing I don't understand. Like you've had plenty of evidence that the Eagles have a winning formula. There's not probably there's not going to be a time where the running game is as potent, or maybe the defense isn't as potent. But this year happens to be one of them. So like to ignore it is like foolish.
Right. And if you look at all three of the games that were played, except for the Kansas City game, all of them were decided because of turnovers, more or less. I mean, honestly, all of them had the teams that lost made a lot of mistakes.
But why do they make? Do you think the defense has a little something to do with those mistakes?
Yes,
of course
it
it does.
Exactly. That's why the teams, they say defense wins championships. It's not a lie.
Yeah, I got you, man. Thanks, Mike, for the call. And like the people still, like I look at this and I go, all right, the Commanders are a nice team. They're not the Eagles. They're not good enough to come here and win a game. If they do, it'll be a shock and an upset beyond belief, right? But to put the caveat in that, well, they need a better passing game or they're going to lose the Commanders. No, they don't. They have proven that they win this way. Like, why is that going to stop all of a sudden? Because Jayden Daniels, some rookie, is going to come in here in cold weather.
And it's a perfect matchup for the Eagles. You're talking about the Washington Commanders were the 30th ranked rushing defense all season, and they just gave up over 200 rushing yards to the Lions. This is setting up perfectly for what the Eagles do.
All right, 610-632-0975. We got a lot more text on this. Let's hear from you. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Gearing up for the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. As we move past the win over the Rams on Sunday and look towards the Eagles hosting the NFC Championship game against the Commanders this upcoming Sunday, we'll be monitoring the quarterback of Jalen Hurts leading up to that game as he deals with a banged-up knee that happened in that Rams game on Sunday. While we wonder about Hurts' health, of course, there's going to be plenty of conversation had around this offense, especially what they're doing passing the football. And, of course, Nick Sirianni was asked to address that when he met with the media on Monday.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game. And there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch. And there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so, again, I wouldn't say I have a level concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
He sounds tired of addressing it, and hopefully we're tired of talking about it by the time Sunday comes. We'll look at it plenty leading up to the game Sunday at 3 o'clock against the Commanders at Lincoln Financial Field. In college football last night, Ohio State knocked off Notre Dame at 34-23 to win the college football national championship. Tonight in Philadelphia sports, the Flyers host the Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock, and the 76ers are on the road against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can hear the 76ers game right here tonight on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, as a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Francisco Lindor grand slam. If
Right.
you remove that,
Like take away the boat, and Washington wouldn't cross the Delaware. Take away candy, kids wouldn't have cavities. Yeah, it's the obvious stuff, but clever. I want to. Here's what I want to do. I want to get the top 5 Chris Simsies and send them to Chris Sims.
we got a good one on YouTube earlier, even though you didn't ask for it.
Go ahead. What is
I
it?
forget who it was who said, if the Chicago Bulls didn't draft Michael Jordan, they wouldn't have 6 championships. Pretty good.
Yeah.
You think you can go better?
You need something more clever.
All right, Mike wants more clever.
That's too obvious. You know, it's got to be clever.
Like if Benjamin Franklin didn't have a kite, electricity wouldn't exist.
That's pretty obvious.
I would say no.
You don't like that one?
I think we could do better.
What do you got,
let me
Ray?
just
All right, we need the callers to help us out on
Take
this.
away Ray Dunn's voice, we wouldn't have Temple women's play-by-play.
I mean, I think
True.
that's probably not true. I think they find someone else to do it.
I don't know. Maybe you get the golden tones. You take away your golden tones, so what do you got?
Well, yeah, I've been trying to figure that out for a long time. Why I'm in this career.
Let's get back to the text board.
We had one of those from Terrence in Wilmington. If I take away the Eagles plays and take away the Rams plays, the score is still 0-0. We've got a game to play.
That's a good Simsy right there.
You should ask.
That is a pretty good one.
There's another one. You should ask Chris Sims if Scott Norwood makes that field goal, do the Bills win? If David Tyree does not catch a football in his helmet, do the Patriots win?
If you take away Chris Sims' top button, he would look like a dork. I don't know. Why does he button the top button of his shirt?
Here, Seth,
Tell me, what is it about the top button thing with going with him?
I hate it.
we got Seth from Winona. If you take away Phil Sims, Chris Sims' TV job doesn't exist.
That's excellent. That's definitely getting down.
Yeah, that may be.
Write that one down, Ray.
That's the
I'm
leader
telling
right
you, I'm
now.
going to package this. I'm going to send it to Chris Sims, courtesy of NBC Sports.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to say one thing here. We're going to the top of the hour. I think I made a terrible sweater mistake. See the sweater I have on?
Yeah, what's the matter?
You see what this is?
It looks like
know what this is?
It looks like the genie bottle from Aladdin.
It's the Ryder Cup.
Ah,
It's a Ryder
Now
Cup.
I see it.
It's a Ryder Cup sweater.
I like it.
So I for some reason, sometimes you can wash sweaters and sometimes you can't. And I forgot that this is a sweater that I get dry cleaned.
Oh, you washed it.
So apparently I washed it, and now I look like you. Like it's painted on my bosom.
It's pretty tight.
This sweater. This
Looks
is like
good.
this is like a Bill look.
I could see the definition you got.
Yeah.
You been hitting the gym?
No.
We got some more coming into the text line for you if you want.
Oh, for me?
For Chris Sims. No, not for
Chris
your
Sims,
sweater.
Not for my sweater?
No.
All right.
No one's hit you with the schmedium comments yet about the sweater. We got Corey in Jersey checking in. If you take away the fat on my stomach, I would be in good shape.
If you take away a 7-Eleven gas station hot dog, I wouldn't have any lunch.
If you take away the coffee shop here at One Bala, Ray doesn't get free coffee
I'm
anymore.
starving these days, man. If you take away the iceberg, the Titanic was a great
There you
ship.
go.
Oh,
That's
man.
a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN HD, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right. Nick Sirianni deserves more credit than he's been given. There was a story. I can't believe I'm leading right into Bill here. This is the Bill hour. Nick Sirianni deserves more credit than he's given. And you know what? I'm going to agree with it.
Yeah.
For the first time, like I've been dipping my toe into the water little by little on Sirianni, but I got to say, and I don't know what it is. Please tell me what it is that he's doing to keep this thing together, because I can't really form a tangible canvas on what he does that makes this team win. So, Bill, I got to go to you.
Well, I think there's a lot of factors at play that make him a good coach. I mean, we've talked about this before, and there's a lot of fans who say, oh, well, he doesn't call offensive plays and he doesn't call defensive plays. And I highlighted that there were a lot of successful CEO coaches. And what we constantly heard was, Sirianni's not a CEO coach. He's not like Dan Campbell. He's not like John Harbaugh. He's not like Mike Tomlin. Well, you know what I would argue? He may be better than all three of those, Mike. Because when was the last time Mike Tomlin won a playoff game? What'd you see from Dan Campbell in the playoffs this year? And where's John Harbaugh right now? They're all sitting at home. But Nick Sirianni's team's still playing. He is a good CEO coach. I know that we don't love the way he acts at press conferences and he's done things on the sidelines. But as a CEO coach, he knows what buttons to push. He knows when they need to practice hard. He knows when they need to get guys off their feet. There's a reason why they're majority, is that the word? Majorly healthy right now, headed into the NFC Championship game. And this could have gone off the rails quickly this season. And one of the things that we said in the offseason before the season started, what would it take for Sirianni to win this fan base back over? And I said, I think he has to hit some adversity and show that he can guide the ship through choppy waters. Well, 2-2 at the bye, coming off a blowout in Tampa, things could have gone off the rails a little bit. They didn't. Coming out of the bye, the Cleveland Browns game, he's jawing at fans. He brings his kids to the press conference. He was getting attacked everywhere nationally, locally. Things didn't go off the rails. Then Brandon Graham comes out and says what he said about AJ and Jalen. Things could have gone off the rails. But how did Sirianni handle it? Addressed it head on. They had a meeting about it. This guy knows what buttons to push. Whether you like him or not, there's a reason this team keeps winning football games, and it's time. It's time that we appreciate what we have. We have a good head coach.
Like it or not.
All right, you asked the question, what's he have to do? Well, for this fan base, he has to win the Super Bowl. Now, maybe that's unfair, and maybe they don't win the Super Bowl because they're up against maybe the Chiefs and Bills are just a little better. I don't know. We'll get to that eventually. But there's no question in my mind for him to get total acceptance of his fan base. He has to win the Super Bowl because if they lose, the fan base is going to find some way to say he couldn't get it done. Now, let me just read this passage because, again, this plays right into your Sirianni love. A lot of people say, well, Roseman put this team together, blah, blah, blah. Well, Roseman can put a team together, and that doesn't mean that you're going to win. There's got to be some guidance. Now, a lot of it goes to the defensive coordinator, in my view. There's no question in my mind that when you have the number one defense in the NFL and you play defense and that defense travels and stays at home in the playoffs and it's a staple, that's a major reason why the Eagles are as good as they are. But as this story says, as good a job as Roseman and his staff have done in assembling this otherworldly collection of talent and, frankly, coaching staff, the Eagles would not be the team they are if left to their own devices. A roster does not self-govern its way to the doorstep of a second Super Bowl appearance in 3 seasons. That's a true statement. Now, first and foremost, the Eagles are a win away from New Orleans, and that's a testament to a man whose one job is to ensure that they get to where they are. However valid the offseason questions about Sirianni's aptitude and his long-term future as Eagle coach, he has answered them. The Eagles have now beaten the McVay's Rams, Tomlin's Pittsburgh Steelers, Harbaugh's Baltimore Ravens, and they have done so in a fashion that is more grind than flash. And I guess that has to be attributed to, a lot of it anyway, to the head coach. I can't believe that I've come to the side. I have arrived at the Sirianni shores.
I love it. Ray, are you also on that boat with Mike Missanelli arriving at the Sirianni shores? Because I'm here with open arms to welcome you.
You're going to be the one that welcomes me?
I'm the welcome
Is there any other welcome party that I can get?
Again, there's a disparity here because you asked me the question, well, what's it going to take? For the fan base, it's going to take a Super Bowl win. For me, not necessarily. Like, I look at this team the way it's been built and the way it's been coached and where it is now, and if they lose to a team that I think is a little better, I'm not going to blame Sirianni for that. But I think most of the fan base would at this point.
So I'm looking at some things that I just got in my inbox of Sirianni love, we'll call it. I mean, just listen to this. This is the company this guy's with. I've given you stats before talking about company. Including the playoffs, Sirianni is one of 9 head coaches in NFL history to lead their team to 16-plus wins multiple times.
You love these large stats.
Listen to this.
You love them.
But listen to the coaches. Here's the other 8 coaches who have multiple 16-win seasons.
I get it, Bill.
good.
You love these large
yeah.
stats that puts him in. I look at it tangibly. Like right now, look at the record. Look where they are in the playoffs. They're going to play in the Super Bowl. That's what I look at. Those
I'm the smartest
stats,
coach in the world.
those stats don't really do anything for me.
All right, well, let me give you the
Go
names.
ahead,
Let me give you the names.
This is a Bill thing. But go ahead.
All right. Bill Belichick's done it. Andy Reid, Joe Gibbs, Bill Parcells, George Seifert, Mike Shanahan, Don Shula, Bill Walsh, and Nick Sirianni.
You can't
So
put-
much good.
You can't put him in the pantheon of those coaches. You just can't.
Well, the only thing missing-
Yeah, it's
What's missing? The Super Bowl, right? All these guys have Super Bowl victories.
Yeah, and he's still young. He's still a young coach. So I don't know that you could frame it that way.
Oh, now I could use that to my argument. He's still a young coach, and he's already done things that only these guys have done.
Okay, well, we'll see how long it goes. Those guys did it for a really long time at a level of excellence. Right now, he's doing the excellence part. That doesn't mean it's not tenuous. 610-632-0975 is how you get in on the Mike Missanelli Show. And I'm just like 5 plays away from completing this whole show. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky.
is, you know?
Yeah.
I would say no.
I guess. Okay. Let's go to the text board because a lot of texts are coming in on this whole thing about Sirianni. And there's a text saying we are overpraising him. Like, like you can't be overpraising a guy who's gotten the team where they are right now. Like I don't like even me. Like he doesn't connect with me, Sirianni. But objectively speaking, he must be doing something right for the Eagles to be at this level. And I don't know how you can't say that to yourself. Like, it's not overpraising. It is what it is.
And it's the second time in 3 seasons that they're in the NFC Championship game. And if, obviously, they got to win, but they're a 6.5-point favorite, this would be 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years. I mean, you got to be doing something right.
I blame this on you because you always go for that large stat where he's in the pantheon with the Joe Gibbses and
listen,
and all this. I think that's what people go. You're overpraising him because you put it. That's you. It's you who does it.
Listen, I'm not overpraising him. I am just reading facts.
God, you overpraise him like
I
crazy.
am reading stats, factual statistics. He is doing things that we've never seen coaches do in their first 4 seasons outside of Hall of Fame type coaches. You listen,
but that doesn't really mean that much. Like they've put together a pretty good roster and a good coaching staff to help that along. Like if you're going to tell him if he had like 10 years worth of that kind of success, then those stats would be pertinent. Like right now, it's a fluid situation, and they're good right now. The team has been built to be good, and he's doing something to keep it there.
All right, well then, if you only want to look at his 4 seasons, then he has the most wins of any coach in his first 4 seasons outside of George Seifert. I mean, like, this is what I'm saying. There's no other coach that has ever done what Sirianni has done in 4 years. I don't know how that's overpraised.
Losing 6 or 7 games last year is part of that equation.
It was, but see, this is what I think people get too caught up on, and you're one of them. I know that it was ugly last year, but we know now, looking back with hindsight being 2020, that there were a lot of factors at play more than just the head coach. They lacked personnel on the defensive side of the football. Nobody can deny that. They had a terrible coordinator on the defensive side of the football.
All right, well, then you're making the point that Howie Roseman is more the hero than Sirianni. No, they lacked all that, and Sirianni couldn't do anything with it. So now that they have it, what you can't have you're having it both ways.
No, listen, I think that in the NFL, it's not only the head coach, it's not only the general manager, it's not only the quarterback. You need all of it. Show me a quarterback that has success without any talent or without a good head coach. Show me a coach that has success without any talent or a good quarterback. You can't take it all piecemeal.
They were 10-1.
See that, Ray?
They were 10-1 last year.
They were 10-1. Now, I would argue, and I've made this argument before, I think the fact that they were 10-1 with that team last season said more about Sirianni than what the collapse did. I think the fact that they were able to win 10 of 11 games to start the year with that team is more praise on Sirianni than we should be criticizing him for losing 6 or 7.
So then he stopped coaching after they won 10 of the first 11.
I just think it became not sustainable.
Oh, it became non-sustainable.
When you had the worst defense in the NFL, you had too many turnovers offensively. There were a lot of factors at play. The Super Bowl hangover is real, man. The Super Bowl hangover is real. And now you saw it happen to the 49ers this year. There's a reason why teams that get to the Super Bowl and lose don't have a lot of success the following season, especially when you lose both coordinators.
I'm trying, Ray. See, I'm trying to cross over and arrive on the Sirianni shores. And Bill has me going back in the ocean.
I can't help it. I get excited.
I'm going back into the tide without a raft.
He can't be the front man. He can't be the welcoming party.
He goes too far.
You have to be radicalized to end up with
It's
Bill.
like he can't even justify, 6 or 7 losses he's justifying by saying they wasn't the coach at all.
No, I didn't say it wasn't the coach.
That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is I think as a fan base, and I think you're guilty of this as well,
Bill,
we are too overcritical, man.
You back me off now.
Now you're off the...
No,
you know what? We don't want you on the shores.
We
don't want you here. Sirianni Island doesn't need you. I don't want either one of you on it.
Oh, no.
Just what I think.
Get off.
I've arrived, and I'm building my own sandcastle. You chase me back into the salty waters.
We don't want you.
All right. All right.
I asked for a different welcoming agent, so I'll probably make it
All
off.
right. Let's give the text that we're saying we're overpraising Sirianni.
It amazes me that you guys attribute good health to coaching, etc. It is almost totally good fortune. Are all the other teams in the league stupid and the Eagles are smart because they always seem to be healthy? No, it's just good fortune. They seem to be blessed, but that will even out at some point.
It's more than good fortune. Come on, man. They've suffered some injuries here. They've been well coached enough to get past those injuries. Look at the playoff game just now. Everybody thought, this is going to be a monster loss with the Kobe Dean. Well, they stepped right in there. Like, it's going to be a monster loss with Q, and they survived it. It's all a good coach team, and a lot of it is Fangio can weather storms like that.
That's true. When the injuries happen, you certainly have to be well coached to overcome it. But I do give Sirianni and this staff a lot of credit for keeping these guys healthy. There is good fortune in it. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, my God. How is he keeping these guys healthy?
Are you kidding me? How much did we debate all preseason whether or not these guys should play? How much have we debated when their practice schedule, how short the practices are? Now, they've extended them a little bit this year, but they know when to rest guys. They know when to get guys off their feet. We get the injury report every week where it's like Saquon Barkley didn't practice because of rest. A.J. Brown didn't practice because of rest. There's good fortune involved, but there is certainly coaching and science and everything else that these guys do to keep them healthy.
I think Sirianni's sitting there and he's feeding them with protein mush in a bowl. He's got the spoon. He's spoon feeding them. There you go. Yeah, I'm responsible for this too. What are you kidding me? He's responsible for their health.
We just got a Simsy from Brandon. If Sirianni didn't exist, Bill would have nothing to smile about. That's our Simsy. We need some more Simsies.
Right, we're going to go back to the text. We have a lot of texts. A lot of entertaining texts after this. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Gearing up for the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update as we continue to move past the win over the Rams on Sunday towards the game coming up this weekend against the Commanders, the NFC Championship game in South Philadelphia against that Washington Commanders team. We'll be monitoring the status of quarterback Jalen Hurts leading up to that when he deals with the banged-up knee that happened in that Rams game. While we wonder about Hurts' health, there'll be plenty made of what happens with this offense and striking a balance between the pass and the run, which Nick Sirianni addressed yesterday.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game. And there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch. And there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so, again, I wouldn't say I have a level concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
They're going to have to look to win a number of different ways against this Commanders team coming up Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field with a chance to clinch their spot in the Super Bowl. In the college football championship last night, Ohio State knocked off Notre Dame to become national champions. They won that one 34-23. Tonight in Philadelphia, Sports Flyers host Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock and the 76ers on the road against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can hear the 76ers right here on the Fanatic tonight, again at 10 o'clock. This update's brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Need more data so you can stream your jam mix on loop? Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Vic Fangio will be asked a lot about Jayden Daniels, who is the darling of the national media these days.
Jayden, everybody loves him, man. I mean, it is hard, though, as great as he's playing, it's hard to anoint a guy in his rookie season. We've seen what happens in the second year, the third year, once coordinators start to figure him out. That's why if I'm taking just simply, there's other matchups in this game, but if it's just simply Jayden Daniels versus Vic Fangio's number one defense, you got to go with the Eagles' defense, don't you, against a rookie quarterback?
Listen, I get it that he makes plays. I mean, and that was a very impressive win in Detroit. The Lions were banged up defensively, so you have to discount that. And I don't want to have it both ways because they did outlast Minnesota, and so the same thing should have applied. So you give the Commanders a lot of credit for winning that game, and you give the quarterback a lot of credit for making plays. He makes plays. I just can't, when the line is 6.5, Vegas is telling you he can't possibly make enough plays to win this game.
I keep going back to the game Jalen gets hurt and the Commanders come back to win. Jayden Daniels threw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Even still, without Jalen Hurts, and they had a bunch of injuries on the defensive side of the football, it still took a miraculous effort of Jayden Daniels in that fourth quarter that I just can't imagine the Eagles would allow him to do that again on Sunday in the NFC Championship game at home.
Plus, he beat a lousy coach.
Don't you dare.
And look what he's up against this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going after Sirianni.
No, he beat a lousy coach last week. We all know the inefficiencies of Dan Campbell. I mean, he's a terrible coach. And now he's up against a winner.
All right, listen.
Who's an all-time ranker.
Next season,
by the way.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm just going to float this. Next season, without Ben Johnson, who's now the Chicago Bears head coach, and I'm hearing Aaron Glenn may be the New York Jets' next head coach, let's see how the almighty Dan Campbell does in Detroit. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs next year.
All right, let me read this thing regarding Jayden Daniels' hype. This is by that Mike Sando from The Athletic. Like Magic, meaning Magic Johnson, Jayden Daniels has separated from other rookie stars. He compared Jayden Daniels to Magic's performance in 1980 against the Sixers when he had 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists in Game 6 here at the Spectrum when he replaced the injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. These outlandish statements are just making me laugh.
Look, the kid's been good. I mean, the kid has been really
Magic freaking Johnson now.
I know. I'm looking at his numbers so far this playoffs. So he's averaging 284 yards passing. He's averaging 44 yards rushing. So, I mean, that's 320 yards a game. He's averaging 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. He's only been sacked once. He's having a great playoffs. But he also did not go up against the number one defense in the league yet in the playoffs. And he's going to have to do that on Sunday. And that's why I think the narrative should not be about can the Eagles' passing offense continue. I think it should be can this Commanders' offense do enough against the best defense in the league.
I just want to see that I'm not overreacting here. All right, let's go to Vic Fangio first, and then we'll talk about this.
Vic, first 4 weeks, Nolan had no sacks, no tackles for loss, no quarterback hits. Bye week comes, and obviously since then, he's been a different guy. What have you seen differently from him? What clicked for him? Any sense of where it came from?
Like I've said with him, he's done a great job of working, and he's constantly improved. And the more you play, the more you practice. And he's getting more snaps now, too, because since BG went down. So gets more practice plays, gets more game plays. You get better. That's the only way you get better is to practice and play. And he was improving in those first 4 weeks, too. But like you've made note, it's, come to fruition here since.
When you have that rotation with 3 men, is that on the edge? Is that typical that you shorten the rotation, or is that just sort of a feeling out process?
Yeah, it's just where you're at. I mean, 3's fine. We basically have 2 out there every play, and there's anywhere from 60 to 70 plays in a game, and so that's anywhere from 120 to 140, and 3 guys can handle that.
Why'd you go with Rodgers over Ringo on that side when typically you've been Ringo?
No, Isaiah's been the first in,
Okay.
no matter what side.
Okay.
Zach, at the end of the game when he fakes the stunts, is that something that is called or discussed on the sideline, or is that all him just feeling?
A little bit of everything, and during the week we had run the stunt that he was faking in them the first game with some success. So I think it worked because of that, what happened in the first game we played.
There's a chance Isaiah Rodgers has a bigger role this week. You obviously get to watch him practice all season. How do you feel like he's improved throughout the year behind the scenes without getting consistent snaps every week?
Well, he was a guy that all during OTAs and training camp was doing very well. And then he broke his hand and was out for a few weeks and was slow to recover from that, meaning when he came back, he wasn't playing at the same level he was prior. But now he's definitely back to where he was, and I have total confidence in him if he plays.
With Jalen, how have you seen him grow in maybe the mental side of the game or some of those finer details, like with that fake stunt and stuff like that?
He's growing. You play as much as he plays, and he gets practice. He's growing. He's a second-year player, getting a lot of playing time. He should improve.
I know you've only had 1 year with him, but with you and Clint, how have y'all approached, coaching Jalen and creating opportunities for him inside? I know you don't put ceilings on players, but how often do you kind of coach and create schemes around him, knowing that he could, transcend some situations?
Not as often as you think, because once you do something, it affects everything else. But it's something that we look to build on.
How much freedom does he have when it comes to some of those moves and faking the stunt, that sort of thing?
Well, when you get an obvious pass, it goes up a little bit. In the either-or situations, not so much.
When you have a young quarterback,
when you have a player on that level who can potentially be what he could potentially be, do you have to kind of hold him down a little bit from a standpoint of not praising him too much so he doesn't get too big ahead too soon?
A little bit, but I don't worry about that because there's plenty to correct, too.
Jayden Daniels is obviously a young quarterback, and you saw him just last month, but he's played in his first postseason games. I mean, in that small amount of time, has he changed?
He's a young quarterback by birth certificate, not by the tape. The guy's playing extremely well. You could tell how much they think he's playing, so good by the volume of their offense, the things they trust him to do. And he's come through for them in a big way. And he's tough to handle.
You mentioned the volume. Is aside from the amount of plays that Cliff has and goes to, are there a lot of teams around the league that run a lot of what he does?
I'm sure there are. He has the added dimension of the gun run game where he can have design runs for the quarterback or he can pull it and keep it. That adds another level to an offense, and he excels at that. And I assume he was doing it in college, and it just comes natural to him.
Is this the best you've ever seen a rookie play at that position?
Probably, yeah.
What's the teaching point from the fourth quarter of the last game?
We just got to finish. I think you do have to give them some credit. He made some great throws. They made some great catches. One like we left somebody wide open. they're good. I think you always have to give the other team some credit when you're executing, where you are supposed to be, and they're just out executing you and making plays. But our guys kept going. We had belief that we could come up with a stop, and we did.
Is he the type of guy that you could tell you have to more mush rush him in terms of the way that he gun runs them, or you feel like you can still go ahead and pressure him more outright?
Yeah, it's always a fine line there. If you're mush rushing, then he stands forever too. So we just have to do a good job of rushing, when we're rushing 4 or 5 and make sure we don't give them lanes.
To get the production that you've gotten from young guys like Jalix Hunt, Morrow, Jomo, how valuable has that been for you, and how much have they improved, throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, it's been very valuable, and they have improved. Mo's really done a nice job with the snaps that he's gotten over the last few months, and we have total confidence in him when we're in there. Nothing changes, and he's got some athleticism, and he seems to show up, and Jalix is getting better too.
When there's a team as aggressive and successful on fourth downs as they've been, does it affect your approach on third downs at all?
Sometimes, depending upon what the third down is, from a yardage standpoint.
You stuck with Orrin in that game. Was that the plan going in?
We had planned to possibly play Trot some, but, Orrin was doing okay. Things were going okay, so we stuck with it.
When you have a back like Eckler who can impact the passing game more than most, is that shift your philosophy a little bit at linebacker or not?
In what way?
Just from the coverage standpoint, the athletic, we talked about Orrin and Trot, just whether someone has better coverage ability or not. Is that more a part of it when you have a back like Eckler?
Yeah, it could be, but, basically Trot and Orrin are very similar, so it doesn't in this case.
How do you think they're so efficient on fourth down?
Quarterback and the talent around him.
In Slay's case, you don't see corners at that age very often. What is it that allows him to be effective at age 34?
Well, he's like some good Italian Dago red wine. It gets better with age. And he's still in good shape, hadn't lost much of his movement, still really likes to play, and I think that's a big part of it.
Talking about the talent around Daniels, have you anybody standing out in terms of their growth over the season, where you can tell that they're...
Well, Ertz and McLaurin are, two of the best at their positions. Brown has really come on for them of late. Their backs are good now that they got Eckler back. Robinson's a good back. They're really well balanced in their skill positions, what they can and can do.
You've also gotten better with age?
Me? I'll leave that up to you guys.
In the case of Zach Vaughn and Cooper DeJean, when you're able to bring them down to the front out of nickel, how does that allow you, I guess the versatility, how does that help you when you don't have to change personnel, but you have different fronts?
It helps, for sure. When you don't have to sub to do different stuff, it helps.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
All righty then. Vic Fangio. Well, it's tough, man. I know these guys. I feel sorry for the media guys. They have to come up with some kind of an angle for a story, and he just doesn't give you much at all. and then at the end, not exactly politically correct. Now, I guess the rule is if you're Italian, you can go with the D word. But he's an old school guy that probably should not have said that.
Yeah, I mean, he gets away with it. You're right, because it's Fangio, so he can say it. But I knew instantly, me and you both just perked up. Wait, what did he just say? So talking about Darius Slay.
Now, you hear that in Italian households. Yeah, would you like some
D red wine?
Dago red.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure that He should have done that.
Well, he could have said the same thing by just saying he's like a good wine. He gets better with age. That's all. You didn't have to drop the D word, but hey.
He's a Hazleton Italian.
It is what it is.
610-632-0975. The always exciting Kellen Moore is up next.
Now, a Birds Insider Up.
right, it's 11:46. We currently have the special teams coach at the podium, so we will absolutely join the main guy. That's Kellen Moore when he gets up there. I'm fascinated by the love of Jayden Daniels right now. And so, Bill, I know I like to play these games with you. They have ranked him among the best quarterbacks here. It's like who are the 4 previous quarterbacks who reached the championship round as rookies?
If I remember correctly, didn't Mark Sanchez?
Mark Sanchez is correct.
I remember him making it. So there's 3 other rookie quarterbacks.
There's one recently.
Did Burrow make it as a rookie?
No. Brock Purdy.
Oh, Purdy.
Brock Purdy and 2 others.
Give me like an era.
Fairly recent, and both of them AFC.
I think I'm drawing a blank on it. Give me a...
Both big and slow.
Did Roethlisberger make it as a rookie?
That's one of them.
So we got Roethlisberger, Purdy, Mark Sanchez, and another big, slow AFC quarterback. Did he have success after that year as that rookie QB?
Yeah. He did.
Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank. Ray, do you know?
That'd be Joe Flacco?
That is correct.
Wow, Flacco made it as a rookie.
Ray fills in the blanks.
Man, I should have known that.
Now, but this goes a little further. Those quarterbacks, Purdy, Sanchez, Flacco, and Roethlisberger, played for teams that sit among the NFL's top 4 in combined EPA on defense and special teams. So what Jayden Daniels is doing is a total outlier.
Because they don't have a great defense.
Correct.
They don't have a terrible defense.
24 team rank.
In EPA?
Yep.
Yeah, I just keep looking at their rushing defense, and I don't see how they're going to stop Saquon in this rushing attack. Unless Jalen is severely limited with the knee. Because you saw in that first game, or not the first game, in the second game that the Commanders won, once Hurts went out and Pickett came in, and there was no threat from the quarterback run, they were able to really key in on Saquon. They didn't have the same level of success in that second half. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Jayden Daniels, look, Mike, I don't want to take anything away from him. He deserves the praise.
He's made big plays. I get it. Overall, can you really sit there and say that the Commanders are as good as the Eagles? So, like, you're taking a shot by saying, well, this kid's going to be dangerous and he could beat him. He can't beat him alone.
Well, if you look at the rosters and we match up the Washington Commanders to the Philadelphia Eagles, you're probably taking the Eagles player at every single position. And the one question mark would be, which quarterback would you take? And I know this may sound crazy. In an NFC championship game, even though Jayden Daniels is playing at an elite level and Jalen Hurts in the passing game hasn't been, I'm not taking the rookie. I'm not going with the rookie over a guy who's been there before. Jalen has been in an NFC championship game. Jalen has played in a Super Bowl and played extremely well in the Super Bowl. So I think every single position, there's not a guy on the Commanders I would take over the Eagles player at the same position. Can you think of one? You're not taking their receivers. As good as Terry McLaurin is, you're not taking their receivers. You're not taking their offensive line. You're not taking their running back.
You're probably right.
You look at the defense, same thing.
The fact that this is now a 6.5-point line tells me the game's not even going to be close. I got to be honest with you. I know people are afraid of this game. 6.5 is telling. And like I say, I have more faith in the odds makers than I do in the Alex Smiths and the Chris Simses of the world. All right, let's go to the phones. Jamie's calling in from Washington, D.C. What's up, Jamie?
What's going on, fellas? How's everybody doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Blessed more than I deserve, Mike. Blessed more than I deserve.
for you.
Bill, first and foremost, I just want to congratulate you on the new generation, the legacy. Wishing you many blessings with that. As a father of a daughter, it's a big deal. And Mike, you know that too. So
yes, sir.
Anyway,
Thanks, Jamie.
Let's get into sports. All right. So when we're talking about this week build-up and stuff like that. Down here, man, they're excited.
The civil authorities have issued a required monthly test for all of New Jersey beginning at 10:50 a.m. and ending at 12:50 p.m. The New Jersey Office of Emergency Management is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. Had this been an actual emergency, the attention signal you have just heard would have been followed by official information or instructions. This concludes the test of the emergency alert system.
Today's political climate, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because that could be a soundbite, right?
Yep.
No, but looking at this game, Mike, I called before when you were the village idiot, or you had to say, "Oh no, Barkley and these records." Look, he's approaching a record right now. Terrell Davis has for the most.
Yeah,
most
but
yards
it's not the same though.
No, not even close. But he does look fresh out there running, and I'm concerned that it will get nasty. CJ got kicked out of the last game they had. He got 2 personal fouls on him. You also have Lattimore. Lattimore's kind of in the age of his game. He's going to try to do something to upset, to just upset, to be noticed. And then with their long, deep threat, you got to be prepared that they're going to try to stretch the field to set up the run. The Birds are going to win because we're the Eagles. We've been here before. As much, Bill, as much as they give you a hard time about Nick, 3 years playoffs. We went 3 years where we didn't make the playoffs. He took them to the Super Bowl. He's 1 win away from going back to the Super Bowl. What do they want? Do they want everything perfect?
Well, here's the thing, Jamie. Have you noticed a groundswell of Sirianni support since we introduced the concept that we should support Sirianni? So they're still not bought in. This is why I say the fan base here needs him to win the Super Bowl. Well, we talked about how wonderful he is like a half hour ago. Are people following that line of thinking? No, they're not.
All we got was you're overpraising Sirianni.
Exactly.
And then Ray just put up on the board, there's text criticizing Sirianni.
Criticize. So he's got to win the whole thing. 610-632-0975. Take a break. Kellen Moore's coming up. Stay tuned.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Get ready for the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. As the Rams win continues to move further in the rear view, we're all looking towards the NFC Championship game in South Philadelphia against the Washington Commanders on Sunday. Of course, we're still monitoring the status of quarterback Jalen Hurts leading up to that game on Sunday as he deals with a banged-up knee that he suffered in that win over the Rams. While we wonder about his health, there's still plenty of conversation about the passing offense, what's going on with this offense, and Nick Sirianni sounded a little tired of it, but still addressed it in his availability on Monday.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game, and there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch, and there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so, again, I wouldn't say I have a level concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
Just need a way to win on Sunday over the Commanders. 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field, the NFC Championship game, the second time in 3 years. It's in Philadelphia. In college football last night, Ohio State won the national championship 34-23 over Notre Dame. And tonight in Philadelphia sports, Flyers host Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock, and the 76ers on the road against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can listen to the 76ers game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic.
At noontime, and you're listening to WPEN and WPEN HD, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, let's get back to the text board, but first we got to set a foundation for the people that didn't hear what we're doing in the 10 o'clock hour regarding comments from Alex Smith and Chris Sims, both of whom were, well, Alex Smith was a legit NFL quarterback. Sims played the position. But I need, let's do the Sims one first because that's the more outlandish one. And Chris Sims, or as I call him, Top Button Chris, makes this statement, which to me is one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard an analyst can make, or a human being for that matter. Here, let's hear it.
That game yesterday, let's say it was 130 plays. The Rams definitely won the majority of those plays. If it's not for two strips by the Eagles defense and basically the 3 long touchdown runs, I would say you take away those 5-6 plays there, the Rams football team won the majority of the plays on the field in the game that day. That shouldn't be. The Eagles didn't play their best ball, and they got to find ways to throw the ball a little bit better because they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who I would argue is the best duo receiver in football, too. And it's inexcusable for them not to be in the game plan a little bit more.
It's absolutely comical. Every time we play it.
Really, it's like, listen, I'm speechless now. I don't have any more reaction to it. It's so ridiculous that I can't even react to it. So we ask people to call in with those kind of analogies. Like if you take away the 3 touchdown runs and you take away the 2 strip sacks, the Eagles lose that game. So it's so preposterous that we ask people for Simsies, Chris Simsies, we're going to call it. And so let's get back to the text board. What do you got there, Ray?
A very common one is best summed up by JB in Pottstown. Someone should tell Chris Sims, well, if you take away your poor NFL play and make all your incompletions completions, then you have had a successful career.
It's
so terrible.
I criticize a guy that played the game and played it at a high level in college and managed to get himself in the NFL and start a few games. But come on, Chris. Seriously?
Every football game comes down to a handful of plays. To hear a guy who's supposed to be an analyst say something so outlandish, it does. It gets worse every time we listen to it.
He wants to take away the touchdowns.
Yeah, and the strips.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like they didn't earn those touchdowns? Like they blocked well enough to spring those touchdowns. Well, how do you take them away? And what does it matter that if you take away the Rams had the majority of the good? It's just silly foolishness. What else do we have on the text board today?
All right, we got if there was no baby gap, Bill wouldn't have anywhere to shop.
All right, I'm catching strays. I'll take it.
And then we got if you take away January 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 11th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, I've had a dry January. From Ray at Northern Liberties.
Is that you, Ray? That was a good one, Ray.
That's you, Ray? That's pretty good, man.
Thank you.
Wait, what was the front runner right now was the one we got earlier in the show about Chris Sims. If you took away his dad, what was it?
Oh, yeah, if you took away Phil Sims, Chris Sims wouldn't have a TV job.
Yeah, I like that one. So absurd.
We got Kellen Moore. Here he is at the podium.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Kellen, when you don't know exactly how mobile Jalen's going to be going into a game, how much does that change the game planning aspect?
Same game plan formula. Obviously, like any players on our team, if you have to make adjustments as weeks progress or games progress, you do, but very similar plan.
Kellen, we've talked a lot about the passing game. And you keep winning games, but 65 net yards, I assume, is not
ideal.
Goal. So, how do you look at it when you come out of a game like that?
Yeah, I think you got to evaluate it in a big picture perspective, and obviously then we look through every little detail of it. And I think, obviously, too many sacks on our end. I focus on how can I help that process and put ourselves in better situations. Some of the play calling in some of those situations, obviously, I'm a dig really deep into. And so, I thought we'd protect the football. We made some plays in some situational football when we needed to. and gave ourselves a chance to win.
What was last week like for you? It's not every week where you're prepping for a divisional playoff game and have 3 head coaching interviews. What was that like?
It's really the same process we normally take. Nothing changes on our preparation for a game. I missed a 4th grade basketball game on Friday night. That's about it. And so, other than that, it's the same process.
After Jalen's injury, there were 2 sacks where he took deep drops, and then the safety and the second down sack on the last drive. Why were those the play calls there when he wasn't moving as well, clearly?
Yeah, those are 2 situational calls. Certainly, I dig really deep into whether if you're in that situation again, do you probably give yourself a better opportunity? Certainly, I lean that way. Just going back through it, everything, being backed up and playing that situation out, and then in the 4-minute offense, we had some success on some movements, and obviously they played that one really, really well.
Last time we played the Commanders, when Jalen went out, they obviously in that second half sold out on stopping Saquon. Why were they successful in your mind? And given his situation with his knee, how much are you worried that maybe they try to deploy that same thing?
They did a really good job of, really gap sound. I thought they did a really good job fitting the gaps. They did a really good job with their pressure plan, having enough different presentations. I thought they really changed up their variety and did a really excellent job. Obviously we felt like we were close on some. They were not able to hit, and they finished it off.
I'd like to follow up on the safety. When you're evaluating that, obviously there's a lot at play there. Protection, the defense that they played, the call, and Jalen's decision making. If you get as granular as you can, how do you assign? I'm not saying blame, but how do you evaluate that and say, okay, this is what should have happened ideally?
Yeah, that one's on me. That one's simply on me. Chasing a particular look that is more traditional in the open field, and we were backed up, and that's one that, hey, I'll call something different in that situation based off of just the way it played out.
100% on you. Yeah. You don't say, hey, you know what, he should have gone to Dallas there to get rid of the ball.
There's things within it, but obviously, my number one focus is to put the guys in the best position to be successful, and didn't feel like I did.
On Jalen's 44-yard touchdown early in the game, obviously it was a zone read with Saquon. I mean, does that kind of show just, if Jalen is a threat running, just how much defenses have to account for that? And, what makes them tougher, Jalen and Saquon tough together?
Certainly the combination of Saquon and Jalen backfield is really, really powerful. They do an excellent job of having the threat of both of them. I think Jalen does an excellent job of making decisions within those. Obviously, he has to make decisions a lot of times in those runs, whether to hand it or keep it. He does an excellent job, and I thought that was a really, really cool play. Great decision by him. The offensive line, Landon kind of pinned it. Jordan obviously led the way, and the receivers did a great job with their perimeter blocking.
Obviously, there are pass plays that you call where you're hoping for an explosive to come out of it. Are there run plays with Saquon where you're thinking this could get us an explosive?
Certainly, there's variables that may increase the odds. Sometimes there's some anticipated probably a little bit more dirty runs, and there's some runs that you're trying to chase something big. Obviously, most runs, if not almost all of them, you're certainly trying to block the first and second level, and then if it gets to the third level, usually that's where the big plays happen.
Kellen, how big has it been getting Dallas back, especially these last 2 games?
Dallas has done an incredible job in the run game. Certainly want to highlight how important he has been in the run game. He's done a great job in there, and then obviously he's made some plays in the passing game. And so, it seems like, we need a play, and he happens to be there.
A lot of times when you see top-tier cornerbacks, people tend to shy away. In that last matchup, you guys really attacked Marshawn Lattimore, especially deep. What did you make of that, and what was the decision process behind it?
He's obviously one of the best corners in this league. He does a really, really good job. Obviously, it'll be a challenge for us. Obviously, one game, some things happen. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen the same way. But obviously, he's a guy that playing against New Orleans over the years has obviously had huge impacts on games, and he does a really good job. So we're well aware of that.
Washington's defensive physicality. Do you see it on film? Is it more than other teams?
They're really well coached. Obviously, know Dan and Joe really well. They do an excellent job with that group. They play fast. They play physical. They play confident. That's the secret sauce. They do an excellent job, and you can tell they're all aligned and they're all in sync on defense. They're not going to give you any freebies. They're not going to give you easy things. They're going to make you earn it.
I've been around them a lot before this year. Anything about Devontae and AJ's willingness and ability to block surprise?
It's really a testament to the team players they are. They're blocking for each other, for the QB run game, for the running back run game. They just do an excellent job. It's big time.
You've been around a lot of good offensive lines in Dallas and now here. What does this group mean to you as a coordinator, just as the group as a whole?
Yeah, this group's incredible. Awesome people, first and foremost. They work really, really hard. They're aligned. They work well together. And obviously, I think they certainly bring the physical tone and mentality to our entire football team. They set the foundation. We lean on those guys certainly a lot.
Said it was going to be a similar process to making adjustments based on like Hurt's mobility and how he's feeling throughout the week, as it would be like any other injured player. What information are you taking into account? How much of that is like consulting with the player directly, the medical staff, when you're making those kinds of adjustments?
Yeah, that stuff's always going to lean on the medical and the player. Obviously, those guys go through their process, and it's just communicated from them to the coaching staff. And so, plenty of conversation as the week progresses. It's mid to late January. There's a lot of guys that are banged up. This doesn't have just to do with Jalen. There's plenty of guys that are going through stuff, and that's how these weeks are.
How do you feel like?
You guys have managed blitz pretty well all season. Why were the Rams more successful than last week?
Really, really good rush. They're doing an excellent job. I thought some of their games and their movements, just as you get later into a progression where the DNs kind of loop back around and made some plays. Obviously, they're doing an excellent job with it. It was a challenge for us, and so credit to them.
You look at the passing yards, and it obviously doesn't look good. But how would you describe Jalen's game on Sunday?
I thought Jalen just played a really clean game as far as he protected the football. He ran it really, really well. We made some really good situational throws. Obviously, some stats can be perceived as not wow perspective. I thought he did a good job of giving us a chance to win that game and putting us in a really, really good position.
The first play of the game, you had success under center, a play action bootleg there, and then I think that was the last under center pass of the game. Was there a reason you went away from it thereafter?
Yeah, I think we got a variety of things within the game plan, and sometimes tying the run game and the pass game together, and certainly we have different opportunities for those.
Good.
All right, thanks guys.
All right, there you go, Kellen Moore. I'll give him credit. He did take responsibility on that safety call. He said it's on me, and he's going to do a deep dig into it. So I'll give him credit. And of course, the distraction, he did miss a fourth grade basketball game. That's about all.
Yeah, I still
19, obviously.
19.
And another secret sauce.
Let's see. So we got 19 obviously.
19 obviously.
5 certainlys. Oh, no, Andrew's saying it was up to 21 he counted.
Oh, wow, really?
On our
too short.
Yeah, Andrew's our YouTube chat.
Okay, 21?
Statistician.
Oh, yeah, he slides a couple in there that you kind of miss.
Statistician, by the way.
I start getting confused, though, because now the press members use it obviously a ton as well. So now there's a lot of obviously's while he's up there.
Yeah.
It's a little much.
They curse now with Sirianni. Have you noticed that? Because Sirianni drops curses during his presser, so now the questions include curses.
Oh, really?
And they're dropping obviously's.
Well, who cursed?
With Kellen Moore.
I didn't hear a curse. Somebody cursed in the question?
No, Sirianni.
No, when Sirianni last week.
Oh.
But and now we got guys tweeting out Italian racial slurs.
Yeah, we're going to address that on the other side. All right, 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana.
Missanelli Show. Let's first get to the text criticizing Sirianni, which at this point I can't believe it. We're still getting, but I think it's really an indication he's got to win the whole thing to get the fan base totally behind him. They're not be totally behind him now. It's amazing to me. They're going to win the NFC title and play in the Super Bowl. They're still not behind him. Right? What does it say there? Text criticizing Sirianni.
Bill from Deptford. They win in spite of Nick. They have talent and all caps coordinators. Season wins mean nothing. It's all about Super Bowls. Nick is a puppet.
Yeah, that's as dumb as Chris Sims. That statement. It really is. It's at this point. Listen, they may not win a Super Bowl. They may lose that game. If they lose that game, it's because they weren't as good as the other team. It's not going to be because of Sirianni. This team is a button-down team. And you can give the coordinators an awful lot of credit. I get it. But there is something to be said for a head coach that keeps it together. Like, if I'm going to criticize him for not keeping it together last year, then I certainly have to praise him for keeping this group together and solid every week. They're about a consistent football team as the league has seen.
Outside of Jalen Hurts getting hurt in the first quarter against the Commanders, this team hasn't lost since the bye week.
Right.
Well, you're talking, 14 straight? Would that be 14 straight wins at this point with Jalen Hurts? I guess 12 with Jalen Hurts, then you add in the 2 where you had Pickett start, you had Tanner McKee start. Look, this fan base is tough to win over. I get it. Once you turn on a guy, we are not a forgiving fan base. But what else do you want, man? I mean, it's so unfair to say he has to win a Super Bowl for me to be won over with the level of success that they've had now in really a majority of his 4 years. I know he had the collapse last year. You love to keep going back to that. But that is the small sample size of the 4 seasons that he's been here. Playoffs every year. 2 NFC championship games. He's already been to a damn Super Bowl. And there's a strong possibility they get to another one.
As we have this conversation, I find another one on the text line from a first-time texter. The Eagles win despite Sirianni. He reminds me of Barry Switzer on the Cowboys. His game-time decisions are horrible. You realize that the Rams line didn't slide towards Carter on that last sack for whatever reason. That was totally insane. The Eagles were one play away from staying home.
Yeah, but they didn't stay home. And that's the thing that you have to understand, that when they needed plays to be made, they made them, and that's the sign of a good team. And people just slough that off. It's hard to win football games. It was especially hard to win that game in those conditions. And they made at least 9 more substantial plays than the Rams did in that game to win it, and everybody ignores it.
Well, Chris Sims says you just remove them. Just remove those 5 plays. Rams were won.
At this point, you got to recognize, that was a game that you have to be really tough to win, and they were tough enough to win it. I don't care where the Rams got down to. At the end, they didn't make enough plays to win the game. The Eagles made more plays than the Rams to win the game. How do you not acknowledge that?
In terrible weather, too.
All right, we gotta take a break. It's coming up. But on the other side, I just want to tease this here. Jeff McClain, who covers the Eagles for the Inquirer, heard the press conference with Fangio. And I just want to throw this out there, whether you think this is appropriate. Fangio made a reference to Dago Red. Now, if you grew up Italian, you know that your grandfathers would make this wine in the cellar. In fact, when I was 3 years old, I got thrown in a bucket to stomp grapes.
In your bare feet?
In my bare feet with my little cousins to make what is called Dago Red, the wine that your grandfathers make, right?
Correct.
Now, that's just within the culture. When Vic Fangio said that, I'm sure he was thinking that was part of his culture, where it was no big deal to say that. And within the Italian culture, I guess it is no big deal. Well, you can't tweet that out as McClain tweets that out. What was his tweet?
McClain, I'll pull it up right now. Yeah, and he didn't bleep out the Dago part. So he says, and he quotes it. Wait, did he delete it? Hold on.
He may have deleted it.
Hold on.
You can't.
No, he did not delete it.
He did not delete it. Okay.
And he says he's like some fine Dago red wine. He gets better with age, and he quotes DC Vic Fangio on cornerback
you
Darius Slay.
Tweet that out. and I know people, oh, Mike, you're too woke. No. It's just appropriate not to tweet out an ethnic slur that maybe doesn't mean anything to you, but means a lot to another culture.
Well, somebody named Luigi Bertini, sounds like a paisan, commented under McClain's tweet, said, yo, that's a racial slur. Sheesh. Don't be tweeting that.
You can't be that cavalier, like you're Jeff McClain, to tweet that out. Now, if you're at Sunday dinner at Grandmom's, maybe you can say that. 610-632-0975, back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Another NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update as we continue to put the Rams game in the rear view from the Eagles' perspective. We can now look ahead to the NFC Championship game this Sunday in South Philadelphia against the Commanders. We'll be monitoring, of course, the status of quarterback Jalen Hurts leading up to that game on Sundays. He deals with a banged-up knee that happened in that win over the Rams. And while we wonder about his health, there's still plenty of conversation about that offense out there. What's going on with that passing offense? And Nick Sirianni addressed that yesterday at his media availability.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game. And there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch, and there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so, again, I wouldn't say I have a level concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
They're going to have to find a way to win on Sunday to get themselves to the Super Bowl again. Eagles Commanders Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field for the NFC title. For the college football title last night, it was Ohio State knocking off Notre Dame at 34-23 to win the national championship. And tonight, Philly sports. Flyers host the Red Wings at 7 o'clock. 76ers out in Denver against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can hear the Sixers tonight on the station right here at 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
9 on the Mike Missanelli Show. It's amazing. We give you all the inside story on this show. Like we talk about what's going on in the lobby and within the ranks and how we go down to the coffee and who we run into and whether somebody brought in zucchini bread and all that kind of stuff. So Bill and I happen to be in the bathroom together just now. Now, Bill did the right thing because I'm already at a urinal, and so rather than go next to me, he goes into the stall.
I didn't want you to feel bad about it.
But Bill goes to me, like, I'm at the urinal, he's in the stall. He goes, hey, what's your position? What's your position on busting ass in front of a urinal? What he means is, what would you pass gas at a urinal if you had to, if there was somebody next to you? That's the pointed intellectual question that he asked me from the stall.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, Ray. You walk into a bathroom and there's another person there, and if you had to, do you just go? It is technically in the bathroom.
My answer is unequivocally no, because if you do, you're putting someone in the vapor of your. Come on, man.
But what would have been the difference if you had to do the full thing? You're still sitting there.
But you're in a stall. It's like you're not next to a guy at a urinal. You're putting him right in the fog.
See, I think once you walk into the bathroom, all is okay.
You're a barbarian, man.
I didn't do it.
You are a barbarian.
I just knew you'd have a strong opinion about it. I knew you'd have a strong opinion.
You don't do it. You hold it. And then when you walk out of the bathroom, you do it in the hallway if you have to do it.
I think that's
you don't
worse.
Put somebody in the same stink.
I think that's worse,
We're
right?
definitely worse in the hallway.
Yeah.
But
No,
the worst
it's
part of all
not.
this is that you opened up a conversation while you guys were standing there.
No, I didn't open up anything.
No, he did.
I'm just doing my business. From the stall, here come these words flying over the top, asking me this weird question.
Yeah, I would say no questioning while you're inside that room. That's a silent place.
Because I walked into the stall, Mike was in the urinal, and it just hit me. Like, I wonder what Mike's position would be.
Mike's position
if
is,
I just let one loose
like,
right now.
Gauche. Come on, that's Mike's position.
You could talk to him about that when you're in the hallway. I'm perfectly fine with your action. I'm more bothered by your words.
That's the thing. You're perfectly fine with the action. Wait, so you wouldn't think that's a bad thing to do?
Did you go into the bathroom for the rosy smells?
You're right next to the guy.
How many people are going to be hurt by it happening in the hallway versus it happening in the bathroom?
You're putting a guy in the stink.
Take care of your business and get out of there. You don't hang out in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
but what if you were going to the bathroom? If you're going to the bathroom, aren't you putting people in the stink as well?
That's different. Then you give the courtesy flush and you try to keep it down to a minimum.
All right, how about this? You walk into the stall, you shut the door, and then you do it. There's no difference at that point. There's no difference than if you. I think that would be acceptable.
Except the sound. Like, do it and the sound wouldn't embarrass you in front of somebody else?
Not exactly going to the bathroom for, like,
let me ask you a question,
wonderful things.
Mr. Young Dater, Mr. Dating App.
Sure.
Would you do that in front of a girl you're dating?
That's so different.
What's
That's
different?
Wildly different.
What
Would
do
you
you
do
mean?
it inside the men's room versus would you do it inside in front of a date?
In the men's room, you don't have to have any decorum.
No, it's a bathroom.
A bathroom. What is this?
It's not a bathroom. It's your own bathroom is when you do it. This is a community bathroom.
I can't even imagine you putting these two things anywhere near the same pedestal. Would you do this on a date versus would you do this in the men's room?
I don't even go into the stall. If somebody will come to the stall next to me, I'll leave the stall. Because I'm not going to put somebody out, and I don't want to be put in their stink. This is a weird conversation.
Meanwhile, he welcomes people into the car where he uses the Wawa bottle.
All right, more inappropriate.
I'm doing that privately.
More inappropriate.
I'm not doing it in a Wawa bottle so it gets on other people.
You're not. But that's in the same car that people will eventually get into.
See, this was funny. I know how Mike's mind works. Like, I didn't even have to fart. I just knew if I asked him that in the bathroom, this would set off a 10-minute conversation about it. I'm learning you.
You're learning me.
Your mind works in a very mysterious way.
Your mind works in a very interesting way. So
Interesting
if you're
way.
next to a guy at a stall, you don't have to do that. The guy all of a sudden decides to pass gas. You think that's comfortable for you to be next to that?
No, but it's also I walked into the bathroom, so it's kind of you know where you are.
It matters. I said, are you comfortable with being in that guy? The guy next to you stink.
I wouldn't say I'm comfortable with it. Kind of comes with the territory.
Well, it doesn't come with the territory. You should have some decorum when it comes to that, and have some respect for other people. That you don't put them in your stink. What am I, an alien here?
I think you are an alien.
I'm not an alien. Listen, in front of your buddies, you do that all the time, right? You don't do it to a stranger. Which leads me to the next story.
Well, somebody on Twitter said that if you don't know the person, it's more acceptable.
It's not acceptable. I'm the only one who has couth in this whole building, apparently.
All right, we're talking about what's acceptable and what's not. Let's get to this next topic.
Let's get to the topic. Now, you know that I've been overly sensitive about the Italians are the most desensitized culture out there, and it's like goes without saying, and I've always resented that. And I always bring up the example of the stereotype Italian on the pizza box, which to me is akin to the stereotype Native American that used to be on the Cleveland Indians hats. But the Italians, for some reason, don't have that same sensitivity, or at least they don't display the same sensitivity. And I think that we should display the same sensitivity. So amongst us, when we use the word dago or wop, we're doing it jocularly within our culture. When other people do it, it's offensive to me. Now, Vic Fangio was not in a room of his relatives in Hazleton. Not that I'm trying to criticize him, because he's an older guy and he probably doesn't think that way in today's modern day, how we view these things. But for somebody to tweet it out willy-nilly, the offensive word, how is that not inappropriate?
Yeah. I mean, look, Fangio should have said it, and I'm sure if he looks back on it, he's going to say,
No, he won't. He won't see it. I'm saying that McLean tweeting it out is giving no respect to the derogatory meaning of the word.
Yeah, now maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anybody else tweet that out. And you know, look, at all these press conferences, every single beat reporter is quote tweeting everything that these guys say. I haven't seen anybody else. I could be wrong, but I have not seen anyone else tweet that.
It reminds me of the movie True Romance, which, Ray, you ought to see that. True Romance, you would love True Romance, where the guy that played...
By the way, I'm wrong.
What?
I'm seeing other people are tweeting it.
Really?
Too.
All right. See, that bugs me. I got to be honest with you. That should not be retweeted out of respect. But it's like that scene where the guy, when they're the mafia guys, and they're getting ready for the final scene, and they're getting their guns all ready. You remember that scene in True Romance?
Yes.
And the one guy who played Henry Hill's younger brother in Goodfellas and also was in The Departed is one of the mob guys. And he turns to the guy and goes, yeah, you talking to me, you wop you, right? And that's a bunch of mob guys, right?
Yes.
All right. That's a parallel I'm trying to make. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
assignment is that we don't ask for much here. Bill and I don't ask for you to do much. You gotta watch the movie True Romance. I guarantee you'll love it. It's one of those movies that's a thrill ride, and it's a Quentin Tarantino script, and so he gets all these great actors to come in, play smaller roles. So the people in this movie: Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Michael Rappaport, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini.
Gandolfini's great. That scene with Gandolfini, if Ray's going to watch it, I don't want to give it away, but that scene is tough to watch. You know what scene I'm talking about?
The fight with Patricia Arquette?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brutal, man.
It really is. But it's like it's a movie that you'll love to watch because it's even though it's crazy, it's wildly entertaining.
Yeah, it is. You should watch that one, Ray. Add it to your list of about 12 that we already did.
I put True Romance for you. Like I'm plugging it in. I think you'd really like it.
All right. Put it at the top of the list.
There you go. That's your assignment.
Sounds good.
So, like, don't...
Wait, don't you have a trip coming up?
Don't delay
Later
here.
today.
Yeah, you're going on a plane?
On a trip?
I don't know if we're going to be in the air long enough for this one.
You can't download it? It's not that long. It's a couple
2
hours.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half down to Raleigh. But, yeah, I'll try and...
All right, so you watch an hour of it down and an hour back because it gets more exciting. It culminates in a final scene.
You know what, Ray? I may watch it again, too, just so we have something to talk about.
Oh, Tom Sizemore, Michael, the Christopher, what's his name, Penn? Chris Penn?
Yeah, Sean Penn's brother.
Sean Penn's brother, the heavy guy that was in All the Right Moves.
With Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
No, it's a good movie, man.
Fantastic cast.
Sounds like it.
All right. Where are we?
We were...
what were we discussing?
Well, there's a lot on the board today because we're talking about the national media for some reason continuously hating on the Eagles. And you're right, Mike. You're not usually a guy that says the national media hates Philadelphia. But things are getting weird now.
It's ridiculous. We haven't played the Alex Smith one in a while. So here's what Alex Smith had to say about what the snow did to influence this game.
It's a compliment to how good this team is that you can have a guy like AJ and he can be non-existent and you can still win big ball games like this. Listen, I think the Eagles got bailed out by the weather yesterday, right? In a lot of ways, this really played into their hands. I mean, I think if there's better weather, they probably lose this ball game. I mean, they net passing of 65 yards. I mean, you're not going to hoist a Lombardi doing that.
They got bailed out by the weather. The weather prevented Jalen Hurts from being his dynamic self. So how did they get bailed out by the weather? Okay, the passing yards were 65. The running yards were more than 200.
They were close to 3.
Yeah,
they got 285 on the ground.
What are you not putting in the equation? The defense made plays in that weather that the other team did not make. Come on, Alex.
And again, it's at the point where they're a game away from the Super Bowl. I mean, this was a conversation, and we had it. This was a conversation in the middle of the season where, is this sustainable? Can you keep winning like this with the lack of a passing attack? And they've shown that you can.
And now it's, oh, no, Jayden Daniels. All right, Sean in Illinois checking in. What's up, Sean?
How we going, guys?
What's up, Sean?
Not making my weekly phone call to appreciate Jalen and Nick Sirianni. And
hell yeah.
I always look forward to it, Sean.
I know you do, and I hope I get an invite onto Bill Island someday. Let me tell you.
You could be the mayor.
I appreciate that. I'd like to say that all these Jalen haters out there are going to get the big passing game this week, but when you're 30th against run defense, I mean, what are we going to do again this week? We're going to hand the ball off. That's what we're going to do. And if we're going to enjoy the hell of it, we're going to New Orleans, baby.
Hey, by the way, if you're going to go to Bill Island, make sure you don't stand at a urinal next to him on Bill Island because you might get smoked out.
I agree. Gentlemen, have a great day. EAG.
All right, there you go. Sean just wanted to give a cheer. I thought he wanted to talk about Jayden Daniels.
Well, he's just saying, that he would love to say that the Jalen Hurts passing game's coming this week, but he makes a good point. The Commanders are 30th against the run. And I tweeted this out a few minutes ago, and people are engaging with it. So the Washington Commanders gave up 521 yards to the Detroit Lions and over 200 rushing yards. But the big question is, can the Philadelphia Eagles keep winning like this? Well, where's the question about this Commanders defense that just gave up 500 damn yards, over 200 rushing yards, and they're going up against one of the best rushing attacks we've ever seen?
I don't know how people can be oblivious to the other things the Eagles do and just look at a number like 65. It's just like these guys should know better, and they don't. These guys played the game.
Well, if you just removed 5 or 6 plays, Mike, according to Chris Sims.
Let's go to John in Roxborough. John, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, John?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good, man.
Good. I agree with y'all because I'm always seeing it. I'm still seeing it, even now, and it's probably going to happen even if we do win the Super Bowl or make it to there and win it. They're going to keep saying, "Oh, Jalen wasn't doing that well. Oh, he was." He's been consistent. He's not. It's not that he's like some outgoing. He does what he needs to do, and he wins games. That's what we need. That's all we needed. He hands the ball off to Saquon. Great. We love that. Saquon is on our team. We paid him to be on our team to run the ball. He'll throw the ball if he needs to, but if Saquon's there, he'll hand it off to him. He'll hand it off to Gainwell. He'll throw the ball to AJ. He'll throw it to Devontae Smith. It's all they're just going to keep saying is that, oh, he's not doing everything that they want him to do. They want him to rush for 3,000 yards, throw for 3,000 yards, do all and everything under the sun.
They almost have to win the Super Bowl to get people to stop going with this narrative, because even if they lose the Super Bowl, they're going to use the same narrative. See, their passing game wasn't good enough, unless he throws for 250 and they don't run for a lot. That's the only thing that's going to stop the narrative.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is even with them saying this, they're like, he doesn't have it in him. He's already done this before. He made it to the Super Bowl. It's not like he hasn't done this before. And when they're what was it? I forget what game it was. When he had that breakout of Pat, he was just breaking out. He's throwing the ball everywhere, and he was hitting everybody. And he literally told y'all, "This is what y'all wanted."
Yeah.
He can do it. He has it in his back.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's a good call, John. 610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Gearing up for the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update as we continue to put the Rams win in the rear view and turn our focus to the NFC Championship game. All eyes will be on Jalen Hurts, and especially the health of Jalen Hurts for the NFC Championship game Sunday against the Commanders. Banged up his knee in that win over the Rams. Yet to get any updates on that one. And while we wonder about his health, there's certainly plenty of things we're still talking about offensively. The passing offense for this group, and Nick Sirianni answered questions again about that as media availability on Monday.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game. And there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch, and there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so, again, I wouldn't say I have a level concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
And they'll find a way to win then on Sunday against the Commanders to get themselves into the Super Bowl. That game against the Commanders, 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field, the second time in 3 years. The Birds are hosting the NFC Championship game. Speaking of championships in college football, last night Ohio State knocked off Notre Dame 34-23 to win the college football title. Tonight in Philadelphia, Sports Flyers host the Red Wings at 7 o'clock and the 76ers on the road against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can hear the Sixers game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm as partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Don on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
56. Mike Missanelli show. We got more Simsies on our text line. A Simsy meaning if you take away 5 of those plays that the Eagles did, the Rams would have won the game, including 3 touchdowns and 2 strips. So
for those who just tuning in, that's an actual comment by Chris Sims.
The actual comment by Chris Sims. And we'll get to that in a 1 o'clock hour. Play it again for you. But we're trying to come up with comparisons that we're calling Simsies. So what do we have on the text line, Ray?
All right, one texter checking in with 2 different ones. If you take away the family gathering for a feast, there really isn't much to Thanksgiving as a holiday.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
If you take away the oceans, there's not a lot of water on Earth.
That's not bad. I never thought of it that way. Since the world is covered by 70% water, right? Is that what is that what the percentage is? It's 70%.
I'll fact check it.
Is the Earth 70% water? It's something like that.
I'm gonna fact check it.
All right, give me one more.
If you take away protein bars, Bill doesn't eat that much.
Oh, I did just have my kind
If
bar.
you take away protein bars, Bill will suffer from rickets.
And by the way, 71% of the Earth is covered by water. Good job, Mike.
71?
71%.
I was in the ballpark. What did I say, 70?
You said 70.
That was a percentage point off.
And the oceans hold about 96.5% of all Earth's water. So great text right there.
Yeah, wonderful work by that
Spot
text.
on. Also, in the movie Signs, they probably would have stayed here, the aliens.
The Signs, is that the Shyamalan movie?
Yeah, don't you remember? They came, but they left because the Earth was covered by water, and water was bad for them or something.
I didn't see Signs. Is that Mel Gibson in that one?
Gibson was in it. Phoenix was in it, too.
Joaquin?
Yeah. Joaquin was in that, I believe.
Really?
I don't have anything on the movie. I got a good YouTube chat that just popped up. If you take away the chat room, Bill can pay attention.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
That is pretty
I
good.
try to keep my ear on both. It's not easy. I guess my ear.
How do you keep your ear to the chat room?
I guess it's not really my ear on the thing, but you know what I meant.
Do we have any text on the Dago Red?
Yeah, we did get some on it. Most people agree with you that not in this setting is the place to use it.
You can't just tweet it out like it means nothing. It's offensive to a culture.
It is. Yeah, I'm surprised how many people are actually tweeting it out.
Surprised the Inquirer doesn't step in there. All right.
Tell them to stop it.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other reporter I saw do it is also at the Inquirer. EJ Smith's at the Inquirer, too, isn't he, Ray?
Come on, EJ.
Yeah.
I think EJ tweeted it, too. Is what it is. Hopefully we'll get some more good Simsies to make you laugh, Ray.
All right, it's the Mike Missanelli Show, and you're listening to it on WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. We are broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, let's start the 1 o'clock hour. For the people who didn't hear the Simsy, this is top button Chris Sims talking about how the Rams really should have won that game on Sunday.
That game yesterday, let's say it was 130 plays. The Rams definitely won the majority of those plays. If it's not for 2 strips by the Eagles defense and basically the 3 long touchdown runs, I would say you take away those 5-6 plays there, the Rams football team won the majority of the plays on the field in the game that day. That shouldn't be. The Eagles didn't play their best ball, and they got to find ways to throw the ball a little bit better because they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who I would argue is the best duo receiver in football, too. And it's inexcusable for them not to be in the game plan a little bit more.
So take away the strips, take away the 3 touchdowns.
He said of the 130 plays, the Rams won the majority of those plays. Oh, really? So the 44-yard touchdown, the 72-yard touchdown, the other long touchdown, like that wasn't a play that counted? Like, what are you talking about? Majority of what plays? Part of the Eagles' plays resulted in touchdowns.
In every single football
game.
game.
It's a stupid, and I got and Kay Adams is on my hit list too here for not challenging that. That's a ridiculously stupid statement that needed to be challenged.
Every football game at every level is decided by a handful of plays. For an analyst like Chris Sims to say that is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you're grasping for things there. Did he really think that was going to be like, wow, you're right, Chris. remove the turnovers and the touchdowns, and I guess that's a different football game.
Do people just not want to respect the Eagles? Like, what is it about the Eagles that is not engendering respect nationally? Because I'm reading Jayden Daniels is Magic Johnson. Dan Quinn is like amazing. They're 6.5 point underdogs, and it's like the Eagles have no business being at this spot.
Yeah, you got Alex Smith. They're bailed out by the snow. I don't get it, Mike. And you're right. We don't usually say on this show about the national media and all that, but this is getting weird now. It's getting weird.
So what is it about? What is it? Is it your boy? Is it your boy holding back? People holding back?
I think it's a combination between Sirianni and Hurts. I think a lot of national media don't like Sirianni, and I think a lot of national media were wrong about Jalen Hurts, and they're reveling in the fact that he's not having a great year statistically in terms of passing yards. Because I told you he can't throw the football. So they want to be right so badly when it comes to both of those guys, Sirianni and Hurts, that they are just waiting for it. They're just, every week it's going to be, they can't win. And then finally, if they do happen to lose, either this weekend or in the Super Bowl, it'll be like, I told you, they couldn't win that way.
All right, here's another thing. Let me throw a little twist for this hour, too, because this is another thing that's bothering me. And you fall right into it, too. What is it about our jealousy of great players? Supposedly, like we have to think that great players are only great because they get the breaks. Like this is clearly the LeBron principle. But the LeBron principle has always been shaped all these years by the people who never wanted to give LeBron as much credit as their hero, Michael Jordan. I can understand that. But why is it when we got a guy like Mahomes that we look for things to detract from him when we know deep inside that he's a great player? Bill, you're
losing me on this one.
You're an offender of this, so you got to explain this to me. It's like people say the same thing about LeBron. Oh, LeBron's not great because of X. Oh, LeBron's not great because he went to Miami. Oh, LeBron's not great because of that. But LeBron's great.
Wait.
Now, maybe he's not as great as Jordan, and you're jealous that he's on the same par with Jordan because Jordan was a hero. But explain the Mahomes thing to me.
So you're losing me on this one simply because I am not taking away from Patrick Mahomes being one of, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. He's unbelievable. But when the NFL goes out of its way, and I understand why they do it, but they go out of their way to put rules in place to protect the quarterback. When you're as good as Mahomes is, and now you're trying to abuse those rules to your advantage by trying to trick a defender into hitting you late and then flopping out of bounds, it's bothersome.
It's gamesmanship.
It's not
Isn't that
gamesmanship. It's
a part
Bush
of
League.
Winning?
It's Bush League.
Well, then how come Chase Utley wasn't Bush League?
That's different.
Why? How? Chase Utley used to lean in the fastballs. Chase Utley used to block the bag at second base. It's unethical what he did half the time, and we loved it.
It's fine because in the NFL, they go so over the top to protect the quarterback position for you to use that to your advantage and be flopping or slide at the very last second so you get hit and then turn around to the ref. Where's the flag? Where is it? I can't take it, man. I can't take it.
The most important position in football isn't entitled to that. The guy who can least likely get hurt because it hurts the league when he gets hurt, and that's why they put the protections in. The guy who's most vulnerable to getting smashed because he has no protection. He's not entitled to take every little edge he can.
No. Not when you go, you pretend like you're run out of bounds. You stop right before you get to the sidelines.
You slow
and
down.
Then you flop.
It's like a receiver. It's like a receiver slowing down to prevent the defensive back from crowding him. He slows down on the pattern, and then you use every trick in the book.
And you don't think that him begging for the flag after he flops is ridiculous?
Of course he's going to beg for the flag. It helps his team.
It's ridiculous.
To get the flag helps his team.
It is Bush League. In the National Football League, in the playoffs, when you are supposed to be the greatest quarterback of all time, to try to win a game by flopping and tricking the referee.
So you haven't answered my question. What is it about Mahomes that makes people look the way you just looked at it?
Because it's over the top.
Oh, it's over the top. Every quarterback tries to do it.
They don't. That's not true. That is not true. I've never seen Jalen Hurts flop.
Why can't
I've never seen him flop like that.
Why can't you accept greatness at every level? Like, if he tries to get an edge for his team that would give his team an advantage, why isn't that part of his greatness?
Because that's not a part of the sport.
But he's already great with what he does. He's just looking for an extra greatness, extra edge for his team.
No, it's not a part of the sport. There is nothing about football that should include flopping and trying to draw a flag when the NFL overprotects the quarterback.
Guess what? Guess whose problem that is? It's the officials for not recognizing it. It's not his fault. He's doing it. It's the official that has to react to it.
That's why there's a couple of rule changes that need to be made next year. Roughing the passer should be 100% reviewable. The slide should have to be done within 2 yards of any defender. If you slide late, sorry, you're free game. They have to change that rule. They have to. It's going to ruin the product. I can't stand. If we watch this game this weekend between Mahomes and Allen, and they're flopping all over the place, I'm going to lose my mind. Don't ruin a great product with those ridiculous Bush League plays.
Man, you're overly macho. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Join 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm proud of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm reading all these tweets, how proud they are of them. Yeah. Good year by them.
Where are they in the rankings for next year, preseason rank? They going to be good again?
I don't know. I didn't notice. I just noticed where Ohio State was, where Penn State was.
I'm looking now. I don't think they're losing a lot of people, right?
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
They're losing a quarterback.
Yeah, they're ranked 6th.
6th?
Well, this is Bleacher Reports, because you said someone had Penn State. According to Bleacher
Penn
Report,
State number 1. I forget where it was.
Yeah, Bleacher Report has Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Penn State, Oregon, and then Notre Dame.
Yeah, the one I read had Penn State 1. That's the only one I cared about. Let's go to Joe in Plymouth Meeting. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
How are you, buddy?
Good. All right, so my question is, can you explain the difference to me if you rush for 65 yards and throw for 285 and win, it's okay. But if you do it the opposite way, if you rush for 285 and throw for 65, everybody's upset.
Because it's a passing league. Here's why. Because it's a passing league, and numbers for a quarterback get most of the attention. Now, guys like Alex Smith and Chris Sims probably relied on numbers their whole life, especially like Alex Smith, who actually was an accomplished quarterback, and they were evaluated on that. But this team is different. This is where they don't put it into the equation. This team is better in many other areas, so they don't need what Alex Smith is talking about. They can win a game where he throws for only 65 yards. First of all, he only threw for 65 yards because it was snowy. Right. And they got to put that in the equation also.
Right.
And still, Alex Smith puts in the equation opposite the way he should look at it. Like, he should look at it like the snow prevented Jalen Hurts from busting that out of the team's butt by running the football.
I understand that, but apparently the pros do not understand that.
I just think that these, I don't know why they're programmed to be anti-Eagle, but it seems like they are.
And you got the number 1 defense, so if you rush the ball, you want time consuming. You want to drain that clock, and if you're scoring, and that gives the other opponent less time to score, you're going to win 90%
Well,
of the
exactly.
time.
Now, the parallel, again, Bill brings it up all the time. That's Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom team, right? Now, I don't ever recall people saying, boy, Russell Wilson stinks, right? Russell Wilson's got to do better. They didn't say that back then because that defense was so good that got all the attention. But for some reason, this Eagle team that's shaped that same way doesn't get the same respect. It's weird.
Yes, I agree with you 100% there, Mike.
All right, Joe. You got it, buddy. Yeah. I mean, do you recall them ripping into Russell Wilson? Oh, right, Russell Wilson's got to be, he's got to use his weapons better. Right? Now, maybe Russell Wilson didn't have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and that's a detriment to how they evaluate Hurts because they go, those two guys are great. How come they don't have more yards passing? But I don't remember Russell Wilson getting hammered.
No, and I'm looking at his receiving core that year, Russell Wilson. He had Golden Tate and Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, that's very mediocre.
So, and then for the running back, they had Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty good weapons. I mean, they're not A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
They didn't evaluate that Seattle team like they're evaluating the Eagles for some reason. So it comes down to Hurts. I guess Russell Wilson was considered more of a star at that time than Hurts is now. I don't know. People want to hold down their opinion of Hurts because he's not Mahomes. And again, like I said, the presence of those two guys in a lot of ways hurts.
Hurts.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just this season. I mean, even in 2022, when Jalen had his Super Bowl, or his MVP caliber year, I should say, and had a great Super Bowl, it was all, well, look at the weapons he has. Look at the weapons Jalen had. And even when he was throwing the ball well, oh, look at the weapons. It's always been the knock on Jalen that he has all of these weapons, and it shouldn't be. And to Joe's point as the caller, yards are yards, man. So every time we put up Jalen Hurts' numbers, it's, well, take away his rushing yards. Well, why? Why would you take away rushing yards from Jalen Hurts?
And I also think it's because he's just so weird that people look at him like, who's this alien guy? Like, they can't relate, and so therefore they judge harshly.
He is a little weird.
He's totally weird. But who cares?
Yeah, he's a little bit of a weird.
Who cares that he's weird? Like, and who cares that he doesn't throw for 250 yards? Like, to evaluate this team, listen, we see every snap. We live with this team every day. We can see it more than somebody who's just doing it part-time, right? Like, but how, if you have a football acumen, do you not go, wow, I mean, that team, what they do on defense and what they do with the running game, it overcompensates for what they don't do by throwing for 250 yards every week. It's such an easy judgment to come up with, and it befuddles me why football people don't come to the same judgment.
I'm right there with you, man. It befuddles me as well.
It befuddles you?
It's a very befuddling.
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 Isn't it, Ray?
I love that word. It's a good word.
It is a good word. Now, can you be fuddled? Or is it just befuddled?
No, it's the B is the prefix doesn't change the meaning of the word, like D. Like
yeah,
D would. D.
Fuddle is a verb.
Really?
To confuse or stupefy.
Oh wow! I never hear I'm fuddled,
especially with alcohol.
I'm befuddled. I've never really heard somebody say, I'm fuddled.
A state of confusion or intoxication. Sounds like it has to do with booze.
Yeah, it sounds like this is Ray's Saturday night. Ray's fuddled on Saturday nights.
I've been fuddled a few times.
Fuddled drinkers.
What happens when you grow up in Oaks? Like, you become a...
Is that where Ray grew up?
Yeah, you become a beer drinker out there? Is that what it is? Is that what you guys did on Friday night? You illegally drank?
No, I was pristine.
You grabbed 40s?
I had my first drink of alcohol when I turned 23. Just to be safe.
Really?
Just to be careful.
You know that we're going to get an Ask Me Anything beer picture of Ray at
it's tight
the airport.
Today. It's an airtight window.
It's the airport. Here comes Ray with a photo of a big 20
I'm
amp
upset,
board.
man. They got the cold snaps on draft right now from Sam Adams. If I don't make it there in time for one, I'm going to be very disappointed.
All right, so Ray will not be fuddled
Here's
on
my
the plane.
pre-flight beer. Here
I
it
need
is.
some sleep, man. Puts me right out.
How does beer put you asleep? Does beer put you asleep, Bill?
I'm a little tired. I come down from the just adrenaline rush of the 4 hours we do here.
Oh,
and
okay. I get it. You're mentally exhausted.
A high-octane beer, right to bed.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Gearing up for the NFC Championship game. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update as we continue to put the Rams win in the rear view. All eyes turn into that NFC Championship game down in South Philadelphia on Sunday against the Washington Commanders. One big storyline to monitor, of course, is the health of quarterback Jalen Hurts leading up to Sunday after banging up his knee in that win over the Rams. As we talk about Jalen Hurts, of course, the conversation locally, nationally, just all over is going back to this offense. Nick Sirianni addressing the different ways this offense could win yesterday when he met with the media.
We're doing everything we can do to win each football game. And there's going to be a game that we're going to have to throw a bunch. And there's going to be a game we have to run a bunch. And so, again, I wouldn't say I have a level concern of anything there. I know we're able to win both ways.
Passing, rushing, defensively, any way to find a victory on Sunday gets the Eagles back into the Super Bowl again. That game Sunday, 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field against the Washington Commanders. Speaking of championship games, college football had one last night. Ohio State knocking off Notre Dame 34-23 to win the college football title. Tonight in Philadelphia sports, the Flyers host the Red Wings at 7 o'clock, 76ers on the road against the Nuggets at 10 o'clock. You can hear the Sixers game tonight right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5TheFanatic.com.
526, Mike Missanelli show. The gang's here. Bill's here. Ray's here. Ray going on an airplane tomorrow. I'm going on one Thursday. I was reading this story about the problematic situation with what's called aisle lice. You know what aisle lice are, Ray?
Ray's busy over there.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
What would that be?
Aisle lice. You know what that is?
No.
Aisle lice is the cousin of gate lice, and it's about when first of all the gate lice are the people who before their station is called get on the plane.
The worst.
Yeah, they are the worst.
Right.
They're group.
Group
I
four.
just got upgraded to group 4.
Really?
Big day for me.
All right, group 4, and then you get the group 6ers and 7s that. But see, I never understood why, like when they scan their ticket, it doesn't go.
Well, sometimes I've seen some flight attendants stop them and say, excuse me, you're
really? I've never seen it. It should be a buzzer that goes off to humiliate the person, so that will stop it right away.
Yeah,
because then it dimes out people trying to get on the plane earlier than their station is called. But the aisle lice are the people that when the plane lands, try to barge out into the aisle and get to the front of the plane before anybody else can. In other words, they ignore the system. Like if you go to a wedding and after the ceremony, here comes a wedding party, they come down, and then systematically, aisle by aisle, starting with the bottom aisle goes out, and then you just follow the decorum. But on an airplane, people like try to barge ahead. A lot of them like have to make another connection. I get it. But the decorum, they're trying to stop it. And so I'm thinking that there's eventually going to be some kind of electronical system that prevents you from doing that. They haven't been able to perfect it. But it is now becoming a major problem, apparently, and hence they're called aisle lice.
Yeah, it is a major problem. I don't see Ray being an aisle licer, though.
No, Ray's a polite man.
Where do I have to be?
Where do you have to be?
Exactly.
Well, suppose you were late for the game. Suppose the flight is delayed and you have to get to the game.
There's been one time or two times over my time working with them that I've flown the same day of a game, and one of those times was because of travel problems the night before. I don't like flying the same day of a game for that exact reason. Okay. I don't trust it enough.
Yeah, well, that's.
You have a game tonight or it's tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
So you're fine tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you going
I
again?
would never make it to Greenville, North Carolina, same day if I was here tomorrow.
You're flying into Raleigh, you said?
Raleigh, yeah.
Oh, Greenville? They play in East Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Have you been there before?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful campus. One of the most
Now,
beautiful
will you go
campuses
out?
I've ever seen.
Yeah, will you go out tonight on campus? You going to hit up some frat parties and stuff?
No, I will not do that. Thank you, though. I appreciate your concern on that one.
Well, anyway, I don't know why people can't follow simple rules like that. It's a simple rule. Let the aisles in front of you go. It's a shame that you got row 27, but that's the way it is, right? And it's the same with the zipper blend into a highway. Like, why can't you just follow that decorum? Like, society would be so much better off if we just follow a little decorum, like airplane or zipper, getting your car into a highway one after another.
Yeah, every other. Boom, boom,
And
boom.
to the
boom.
point where they've now had to, like, the Blue Route has stoplights, red and green lights when you come, like, because people can't follow the rules. It has to be dictated by a green and red light.
Every other. Learn how to merge.
Yes.
Every other. I can't stand that, too, when the car tries to go. Two people try to get in, or the person doesn't let you in. Listen, it's in every other.
And they glare at you like, no, you're not getting. Well, dude, what did I do to you?
Yeah, you're right, Mike.
Let's go back to the phones. T-Love and Delco. T-Love, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. T-Love.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, T-Love?
Listen, True Romance is a great movie, man. I mean, a great movie.
It's a thrill ride. It's a thrill ride. Every moment is a thrill ride in that movie.
It is. You know, a lot of people get on Tarantino about his use of derogatory
the N-word.
racist-
Yeah, he's fascinated by the N-word.
Yeah, I mean, not just like even with the the comment,
The Italian slurs. Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about before the conversation between Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken
In the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
One
you know what it is.
One of the most intense scenes ever.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a great movie. It doesn't detract. Even when he uses it, it doesn't detract from the movie.
You're right. You're right. He has a way of putting that language in there where it doesn't detract.
Yeah, I mean, like yourself. Here's just a question. Do you identify as American or Italian American?
I identify as American Italian.
Okay.
So I go American first, and then just Italian heritage. I wasn't born in Italy. I can't go Italian American.
Right. So that being said, do you think it's racist if somebody looks at you and says, hey, you're Italian, right, without hearing your name or hearing you speak or anything like that? It's like when you identify a black person as being African American, I'm just things that make you go, I know a lot of black people in general have been here for a lot of years. At what point do you become American and not African American?
No, you're right. I think we make the mistake of language of saying, like, I'm an Italian American, when in fact you're an American Italian. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, most black people my age identify as Afro-American.
Yeah.
We identify the fact that we are of African heritage, but that's not what I call for. Just on a rant. Chris Sims. Chris Sims is the Merrill Hodge of this generation.
Oh, what happened to Merrill Hodge? I haven't seen him in a while, T-Love.
Listen, man.
I think he's been sick.
Straight jacket suits that he used to wear, he's probably in a mental institution somewhere.
No. I think he's been ill.
Has he?
Yeah.
Well, that being said, I feel bad for him. But he was a guy you're never going to get anything good about the Eagles from.
Yeah.
And like you say, with Alex Smith, the weather saved the Eagles. Did the weather save them when they played in the Dome in L.A.?
It's a ridiculous statement. That's why we're trying to play it as much as we can so people can understand. Like, how do you say something like that? It's just foolish.
Yeah.
It depletes you as an analyst when you say something stupid like that.
It really does. But how come nobody sitting next to him brought up that point?
Well, that's what I mean. See, I would have brought that point up, but apparently now it's all patronage. Kay Adams, sunshiny. You can't. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, did you just say that? Yeah. Really? Do you think you want to evaluate that a little?
Yeah, but that's not Kay Adams'
No,
style.
it's not. But why not? Why? Who cares what her style is?
Yeah.
Like that's a stupid statement and needs to be you don't have to challenge it rudely, but you put it in perspective and go, oh well really?
Isn't every football game decided by a handful of plays?
Yeah, something like that.
You're gonna fight for that inch. It's a game of inches.
Now, all right, one guy that actually gets it. I can't believe it, but
he does get it.
Club Shay, Uncle Shay, Shannon Sharp. On, I guess this is on First Take with Stephen A.
I think he may have been appearing on. Was it NFL?
Sure this was First Take.
Was it First Take?
On First Take. So he starts talking about the Eagles, and he seems to have the proper perspective.
Yeah, because you can't stop the run. I remember my first Super Bowl. John L., go back and look at those stats. Well, if you can't stop TD, you can't beat us. I used to tell, it got so bad, Stephen A. and D.O., I used to tell guys, if y'all stop TD, we'll throw the ball. If y'all don't stop him from running, we're not going to throw it. And right now, no one can stop them running the football. That offensive line is doing what they do. They're a dominant offensive line. They're one of the 2 or 3 best offensive lines in football. Not only can they pass block, but it's a pleasure. It's a joy for them. Because they really wanted Saquon to get that record also, because they would have been immortalized. They would have been in the record book for immortality, but it didn't happen. But look at these holes that he's running through. Why would I ever want to have Jalen Hurts to drop back and throw the ball when so many things can go wrong? As opposed to just turn around and hand it off to him, and he hit his head on the goalpost from 60 yards. 4 of those runs, 4 TD runs against the Rams, covered at least 60 yards, guys. Do you understand how hard that is? This is an NFL team. So, yes, this offense is good enough. You're going to have to make them beat you with their weakness. I believe their weakness is throwing the football. But if you keep playing to their strength, letting them run the football, yes, they can run themselves to a Super Bowl victory. Yes, they can.
And you know why they can? See, it doesn't happen all the time. In fact, it happens very rarely that a running game is good enough to carry the mail. That's why it's a passing league, because it's easier to pass the ball, get the ball down the field, and score. But this running game is one of the more special ones ever. So in that context, you've got to put that in the whole thing.
Sharp is spot on, but my only concern, and I'm with Sharp, I've been saying it, my only concern is what makes this running game so special is that Jalen Hurts is a part of it. And if that knee isn't 100%, that would go a long way to helping the Commanders try to stop it. That's my only fear going into this game is if Jalen's not 100% in the running game and that affects it in a big way. That would be my only concern.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, right. He just wasn't that weird? He just referred to him as Sharp.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? He referred to him as Sharp.
I mean, it's probably right.
Well, I agree with Shay Shay. I agree with Shay Shay.
I never say, well, Sharp was right on.
Yeah, most people call him Shannon.
Yeah, or Shay, or Uncle. Like, it sounded weird.
I mean, it's technically right.
Sharp.
Yeah, Sharp.
Well, it's his last name, and no one had ever said, well, did you hear Sharp one, Stephen?
No, I agree with you, Mike. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
But I think
it is technically correct, though.
Oh, Mike Missanelli Show. We want to squeeze in 610-632-0975 back after this. Mike Missanelli Show. We had a lot of Simsies on our text board, but we also bypassed the news and noon. We got all backed up. We had the coordinators on. We had a lot of calls. We had some breaks back up, so we weren't able to do the full news at noon. But in the news at noon today, Christopher Wusso had a rant on the fact that he didn't appreciate the fact that Caitlin Clark was at the Chiefs game with Taylor Swift.
Oh, he was mad about that?
Yeah.
Mad dogs, dogs.
Yeah, let's hear what you have to say about it.
I've had enough with Kelsey. I've had enough with the girlfriend. And now I got Caitlin Clark in the mix. Who, by the way, I saw Caitlin Clark play, 50 games in college basketball the last 2 years? Parts of it. I never heard one reference. I never saw her father with a Chief jersey on. I never saw her with a Chief hat on. I heard not one reference in 50 games that she was a Chief fan. And then all of a sudden now I was a big Kansas City fan. Oh, come on, stop, please. I mean, I understand you want to be a fan because they win. That was tough to tell. I am so Chiefed out. It's ridiculous. And, ESPN, they're going to be as guilty as everybody else. They're going to show you, Swift and her in that freaking press box until the cows come home. when Taylor Swift's Bob Dylan, come back and talk to me. Come back and talk to me.
Come back.
I'm okay with Clark. In the booth, Taylor Swift, I'm Kelsey's. Why did you give a crap? Like, Taylor Swift invites Caitlin Clark. Maybe they have a mutual friend, whatever it is. Like, she doesn't have to be a Chiefs fan. Like, you don't think that's an adventure? The girl's living her life.
She was on the Kelsey's podcast. She grew up in Iowa. This is not exactly rocket science, people.
Yeah, so here, I'm reading a story here.
I've never seen it. 50 years.
She said on the New Heights podcast, I had family in Kansas City. I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa. It's only 3 hours from Kansas City. And that she grew up a Chiefs fan. She said it on the New Heights podcast before she was seen in the booth.
That's also the thing that I found hilarious, that I saw 50 games of her. Parts of them. Okay, so you didn't watch. And I can guarantee you there is no way Mad Dog Russo is locked into what the pregame entrance fit was or what her father was wearing, because her father's at her games wearing gear to support her. And when he saw her on the floor where she's wearing an Iowa jersey.
50 games.
Now,
I've never seen one time that she wore Chiefs underwear.
Now, I will say, I guarantee you Caitlin Clark didn't appreciate the flopping by Patrick Mahomes, right? I'm sure she's with me on that.
She definitely was pro the flopping. She played basketball. Come on.
No. Bush League.
I can't believe that drove, because there was also an all caps Skip Bayless tweet where it was like, get Taylor Swift away from Caitlin Clark.
Why do these people care that wherever they shoot to her in the booth or whoever's sitting there? Like, what does it matter? She's a big star. She's maybe the world's foremost star right now. She's newsworthy, whether you like it or not.
Well,
you care.
I mean, the reason
Clark's hanging out with Taylor Swift, that's a feather in her cap. She probably got a kick out of that.
Yeah, the reason that people care, and I don't, but I'm saying the reason people care is because the broadcast keeps showing it over and over and over. I'm saying they make you care. They make you care by showing it.
Well, because
it's not
if I'm the director, I would show it too. And Taylor Swift, it's like, she's a star.
I get it, but when you ask why do people care, it's because other celebrities would be shown once, like, oh, hey, so-and-so's at the game.
Other celebrities aren't Taylor Swift. She's the biggest star in the world right now.
I get it, but that's why people care, because the broadcast makes you care. They keep showing it. Every single play, they go back to her.
So do you care
when...
It
annoys you, too. I can tell it annoys you.
It does. It definitely annoys you.
Listen, to me,
it annoys you, too, Ray?
No, him. No. It doesn't bother me. Are you kidding me?
It does not. I understand why it annoys people. It doesn't annoy me because I see the business side.
How do you understand why it annoys people?
Because
how do you understand that?
Because it's oversaturated.
It's not oversaturated. She's a star. You want to get her the star's reaction, whether you like it or not. You can't change the fact that she's a star. It's like Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper, like they shoot to him all the time during Eagles games. So he sit next to Jeffrey Lurie, whatever. Is that you have too much of that?
Probably. Listen, not to the level of what they do. And trust me, it does not bother me because I understand the business side of it,
a little bit
for the broadcast and for the NFL.
You like Mahomes,
but I can understand. I can understand why people get annoyed.
You got these little annoyances too, Bill.
What annoys
you try
me
to hide it, but
what annoys me when they go to Taylor Swift, and I've said this before. What annoys me is Travis Kelce is arguably one of the greatest tight ends we've ever seen in NFL history. But every time he catches a pass, Taylor Swift acts like she's shocked by it. Like, oh, my God. Did Travis just catch another one? It's like, come on, man.
So what?
The surprise in her face.
She's not a refined football analyst. She's just a girlfriend.
It doesn't matter.
By the way, I know for certain every single one of the Gettysburg cheerleaders back when you were there had the same exact reaction.
Well, they should have been surprised. I wasn't Travis Kelce. I can understand the surprise.
I'm doing a show with Mad Dog.
He's so Chief Stout, he just won't admit it. He hates them. He loathes the Chiefs.
Well, like Bill said, it's annoying.
Wait, you can't have it both ways because you've said that the Kelceys are oversaturated, but yet showing his girlfriend isn't? Come on.
Whoa. Okay, you're not talking to me.
I'm talking to Mike.
The Kelceys are not at the same level of stardom as Taylor Swift.
And that's why I understand from a business perspective you keep showing her, but I also
from
understand.
A personal standpoint,
no, I understand why people get annoyed by it.
It annoys me. I understand why people get annoyed, and I'm trying to veil the fact that I'm also annoyed.
I understand why people would be annoyed by it. Just like you've tried to talk about how I understand why people are annoyed by Nick Sirianni. Well, and I understand why people are annoyed that in a broadcast of an NFL football game, they keep showing a pop star over and over and over.
Do they not show football plays because they're shooting at Taylor Swift? The game is still being televised in toto.
It's oversaturated. That's it.
My God.
It's over the top.
So
I get it.
I'm curious, what crowd shot would you prefer? How do you prefer they fill that time?
Okay, you don't think that they show Taylor Swift more than they have ever shown a celebrity at a football game in the history of watching NFL broadcasts?
She's the biggest star who's ever been watching a football game, who happens to be the girlfriend of a star player. Do you not get that connection?
100% get it. But it is over the top. I understand how people could be annoyed by it. That's all.
It's amazing how people. There's so many other things to get annoyed by. Like to pick that. Good, dude. You need something. Protein shakes are getting to your head. I don't know.
I'm saying I understand.
You need gummies.
You don't
in those protein shakes.
You don't understand. You're a man of the people. You don't understand how some people may not be annoyed by it.
I don't get it. She's the biggest star in the world. Get used to it. What bugs you about it? What could possibly bug you? She's a girlfriend acting silly because her man caught a pass. Like, what? It happens.
So too much Jason Kelce is a problem, but too much Taylor Swift is not. I got it. I got how it works now.
Oh, my God.
You've talked about how Kelce's everywhere, but it's okay showing his girlfriend.
Kelce is different than Taylor Swift's the biggest star in the world. All right, it's time for the closing argument.
Thank God.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenThalAbrams.com.
My closing argument today is about two idiots. Alex Smith and Chris Sims.
I thought you were going to throw me in there.
And they're not, and Bill Kalawulo. And their nonsensical analysis of the Eagles and how the Eagles got lucky because the snow leveled the playing field, and if you take away 5 scoring plays, that would have been a Rams victory. Like, it's so ridiculously stupid, and I can't imagine those guys not being challenged on stupidity. So my closing argument is this. Stop trying to overthink it, you ex-NFL players, trying to overanalyze this nonsense, and be sensible, like Club Shay Shay was sensible. The Eagles play great defense, and they run the football, and that's good enough to frickin' win. Mr. Swift, go ahead.
You're damn right it's good enough to win. You're right, Mike. The focus should not be on the passing game for the Eagles. It should be on how good their rushing attack is, how good their defense is, and if we're looking forward to this Sunday, it should be on if this Commanders team can give up over 500 yards again and win, because it's unlikely. So we'll continue to break it down all week, Mike.
We will break it down, and I'm so annoyed about Taylor Swift, I might drive my car off the road today. It's really going to affect me now that I'm thinking about it.
Don't do that, because I don't have Ray tomorrow.
Get annoyed. That's right. Ray's not in tomorrow. but Bill and I will be. And we're going to try to do some General Knowledge Wednesday without Ray. So you won't have to beat Ray tomorrow, which,
Yeah, and we're not going to make you beat me because you'd lose.
Yeah, normally it's not a formidable task to beat Ray. But
I won last week.
You get it? Oh, you did?
Haven't had an outright win by the audience since 2024. So.
But who's counting, right, Ray?
I'm just saying. I love this narrative. That's easy. If it was so easy, they'd do it every week. Figure it out, folks.
I love him.
Figure it out.
Listen, Skippy. Just go to the airport, get yourself a 20-ounce beer.
I will.
And chill.
I'll sleep good.
Have a great night,
AMA
everybody.
coming.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.